The Royal Rumble is the second biggest event of 2021, and it's going to be even bigger. During our Wrestling Insider pay-per-view watch-along is the former Raw main eventer himself. John Cena Sr. will be in studio live during the big event. We'll watch the Royal Rumble, take some questions, sign some autographs, and make this year's Royal Rumble as interactive as it can be without you being there in person. Get ready for John Cena Sr. live during the Royal Rumble, January 31st. Boston Wrestling Sports and the MWF explodes into a new year of unknown with professional wrestling content galore, and we need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after we review the previous night's Monday Night Raw, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with the unpredictable WWE Hall of Famer, Mr. USA, Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights after WWE, NXT, and AEW at 10 p.m., you never know who's going to show up on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's No Holds Barred Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll journey through the 80s and 90s on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday nights after the lights go down at the Thunderdome on SmackDown, it's John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. If you want early, ad-free access to all of our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and to help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times, for less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Expect the unexpected in 2021.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, welcome to the Saturday night premiere of Wrestling Insiders Week in Review. I am your humble host, Dan Marati, here at MWF Studios, downtown Melrose, Massachusetts, in the zip code of Champions 02176. It is a freezing Saturday night here in the greater Boston area. If you're in a warmer climate, well, you know what? Good for you. Lucky you. Aren't you lucky? Last Royal Rumble weekend, I was in Houston, and it was very nice. I look forward to returning to Tampa for WrestleMania 37 this April. If you missed the pilot episode of Wrestling Insiders Week in Review last week, the concept of this program is pretty simple. Common sense says it takes a lot of time to dedicate parts of 4 nights a week to our 4 in-studio Wrestling Insiders studio shoot interview talk shows, along with all of the other great video content we produce each week. So with Week in Review, it's going to be some one-stop shopping, whether you want to hang out with us during the live premieres on Saturday night and take part in the chat, whether you want to listen to us while traveling or at work, or at any time at your convenience. Here it is. We got some nice feedback from our first attempt, so the plan going forward is for Saturday night premieres so we don't conflict with pay-per-views on Sundays. We have so many great ideas in the works for these shows, but it all begins with you guys. The big request from us: share the link to this and all of our great videos across your social media platforms. If you're watching us on Facebook, there's a share button right there. Share away with your fellow wrestling fans. If you belong to wrestling Facebook groups, go in there, drop the link in. They'll actually see the video as we continue the program. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a share button on the screen that will send the link to multiple platforms. It's an easy, free way to keep wrestling legends working. And let's face it, if you're not under a WWE or AEW contract in 2021, there are very limited options out there. Almost no independent wrestling events to work, almost no autograph signings, ditto on fan fests. These legends are losing most of their extra income. And I believe they deserve better than that. I know they deserve a better fate than that, and I know we can help because we've done it before. On YouTube, the Super Chat button is open for business. That is the gray little $ symbol. It helps a great deal. It helps us keep the lights on. Don't forget to tip the bartender for some great entertainment and help us bring the superstars to the studio for your viewing pleasure. You can also get early ad-free access to all of our Wrestling Insiders in-studio shoot interview talk shows, our world-renowned studio shoot interview DVD library that has been seen by millions online, millions more on The Howard Stern Show. Get exclusive content and more, all while helping keep wrestling legends working over at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. You get all that for less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks. Our eBay store is loaded with great rare wrestling merchandise and t-shirt bundles. And unlike life during coronavirus times, it is open 24/7. The link can be found in the description box below. In less than 24 hours, Mr. John Cena Sr. is planning on joining us for a WWE Royal Rumble 2021 pay-per-view watch-along party on YouTube and Facebook, where you can interact with the former Raw main eventer, get an autograph, and have some fun with friends while watching WWE's second biggest pay-per-view of the year. Also, for non-regular episodes, this Friday night, February the 5th, weather permitting, WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas is slated for another live episode during SmackDown for some wrestling talk, humor, autographs, and artwork. I'm a big fan of our Wednesday nights Wrestling Insiders Special Edition, where we have the rotating guests each week, but we need your help to make it happen. There's a chance we could get more great superstars in studio in March, but we cannot do it without you. You guys are our tag team partners. Without great wrestling fans like you, remember, there is no professional wrestling at all, and there certainly isn't a Wrestling Insiders talk show. Thursday night partner in crime, Marty Jannetty, he's also slated to be back with us later in February, so we have that to look forward to. To run down what we have tonight, for tonight's show, on this week's program, Tony Atlas and I discuss the deaths of Brody Lee, Luke Harper, and the legendary Danny Hodge. Plus, which wrestler does Tony think was tougher than Haku or Ming in WCW? The baddest of the badasses. Who was tougher than Haku? We'll find out in Tony's opinion in just moments, but don't forget you can catch new episodes with Tony every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Also, on this episode from Wrestling Insider Special Edition this week, Nasty Boys Brian Knobbs discusses leaving the NWA for the WWF in 1990. Heat he got from the NWA in the middle of a feud with the Steiner Brothers, Royal Rumble 1991, breaking into the WWF within weeks of The Undertaker, and much more. Don't forget, Special Edition episodes premiere every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. In a movie-length Wrestling Insiders party with Marty this weekend, Marty Jannetty is back talking J.J. Dillon leaving the NWA as an on-screen manager to become part of the WWF office. He discusses injuries he suffered in WWF and WCW to a coked-out superstar. Ted Turner's wife Jane Fonda getting physical in WCW. A Haku bar fight, a WWF enhancement talent having issues with the Barbarian, plus a confrontation Marty had in Austria with a promoter that led to Marty fleeing the country with ramifications here in the United States and more. Enjoy new episodes with Marty every Thursday at 10 p.m. Finally, after the lights go down at the Thunderdome in Tampa, John Cena Sr.'s dome is just lighting up as this week Johnny shares his thoughts and predictions on Royal Rumble 2021, the return of Goldberg, and more. Don't forget, Cena is with us every Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern after SmackDown. Without further ado, fans, it is time for my Hall of Fame partner in crime, WWE Hall of Fame, Bodybuilding Hall of Fame, how about the Life Hall of Fame, Tony Atlas. Stand by. Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, welcome to another Wrestling Insiders. Dan Marati here with Tony Atlas, who is preparing for the 2021 Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks. Oh, no, most of them are envelopes in the box that they go in. Oh, Tony, I tell you, we had a lot of feedback, but more even so than wrestling, about your chicken wing eating on one of the more recent episodes. A lot of fans felt it was disgusting.
That I was eating.
That you were eating chicken wings and smacking your lips. They said they couldn't handle it.
Really?
Yeah.
What? Well, I won't eat chicken wings no more on the show. I get me some hog chitlins.
Some what?
Hog chitlins, pig intestines.
Hog chitlins?
Chitlins, yeah, pig intestines.
Now, where do you get hog chitlins?
In the store.
Now, do you think they'd sell them at the deli where Cecil the Lion works?
No.
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 You have to go to a specialty deli.
Yeah.
All right. Will you be part of Cecil's land?
So they don't like me eating my chicken wings.
They couldn't understand you, and they said the sound of you smacking your lips with the sauce on the chicken wing was repulsive. Now, not all the fans, but some of them that left messages that aren't our regulars, that weren't exactly expecting us to open the show with you sounding like you had peanut butter with no water to wash it down with, they were quite surprised, Tony. But you like your chicken wings.
Tell them, welcome to the real world.
Welcome to the real world. They
That's
said
how
it
is
looked
in the
like
real world. I'm at home at Boston Wrestling.
it looked like Dan Marotti was getting hit by the back end of a snow blower with the residue that was coming out of the sides of Tony's mouth. They wanted to test the DNA of the chicken wing as it was hitting my cheek.
Oh, wow.
All right. Well, Tony, a lot to talk about in the world of professional wrestling here as we wind down the month of January. We have a big month of February coming up. There is a time period that Tony has wanted to talk about for quite some time. We're going to get there. I guess we'll call it February sweeps, as they say in the world of TV. You're excited, Tony, but you know, as usual on this program, we like to honor those that we've lost in the king of sports, professional wrestling, Tony, and one that is certainly it has pulled on the heartstrings of many. We lost Luke Harper, Brody Lee, who was with AEW when he passed. A 41-year-old individual, Tony, had issues with his lungs. Even the Mayo Clinic couldn't do anything to save the man. Truly a tragic passing to lose someone so young. Not someone that was a drug guy, an alcoholic. He was he lived a healthy life.
How old was he?
41, just a little older than I.
How come I don't know him?
He was part of the Wyatt family.
They don't know him.
You don't know who he is? Luke Harper?
When I got the message, you know what Luke I thought you were talking about?
Luke Robinson?
No, the Bushwhacker.
Oh, Bushwhacker.
That's the
Luke.
only Luke I know in wrestling. I don't know any other Luke.
You know who the Wyatt family is,
Yeah.
right? He was
Yeah.
one of the Wyatt family.
Which one, with the red hair or the dark hair?
The one with the dark hair and the dark
Oh,
beard.
okay.
The one that wasn't Bray Wyatt.
Okay. See, I never met him.
You never met
Never
him?
met him a day in my life.
What did you think of his work, Tony, as part of the Wyatt family? Were you a Wyatt family fan like John Cena
yes,
Sr.?
Yes,
You like the
I remember when all
Wyatts?
three of them were together. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I thought it was very good. But getting not to try to knock WWE again, but guys like Luke Harper and all them guys, Vince make them look like big sissies.
They made him look like a big sissy?
Big sissies, yeah.
Why is that?
Because when you, what was he, 6 what?
About 6'5".
6'5", 300 pounds, and you can't beat a guy 5 feet, 120 pounds. You're a big sissy.
Who did he lose to that was that small?
Everybody he wrestled. See, they try to make these big guys wrestle and try to make a match with such smaller people. There have not been a big guy push in the WWE with the exception of Brock Lesnar in the last 20 years. If you stop and think about it. They don't push big guys. They push these little guys all the time. And then these little guys go out and beat these big guys. But we both know in real life that ain't going to happen. That's going to happen. And
Well, in most cases.
that's why nobody know Luke Harper, because he's a big guy. If something happened to the smaller guy, everybody know, because he the one to get all the. Why they push smaller wrestlers and ignore big wrestlers, I never know. The only big guy I've seen in the last 20 years that got any type of push was Brock Lesnar. Look at what did they do with Mark Henry? Not a damn thing. What they did with Big Show? Not a damn thing. What they did with the Great Khali? Not a damn thing.
Well, they'd have short spurts,
That's what I mean.
but nothing
But
long
not
term.
like Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? I mean, Luke Harper, Mark Henry, you can't name one big guy that got the push. Rey Mysterio got. And I love Rey, not knocking, but that's why we don't really know these guys, because even though they're on the show a lot, we was, my opinion. That's just my opinion now. I could be wrong. I've been there many
Well, that's
times
why
before.
this show is called Wrestling Insiders at Your House or Atlas Your House.
Right.
It's all about your opinion.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. Tony, I say this, anytime we lose a 41-year-old member of the Brotherhood, I think
What they say it was from, you hear it?
he had his lungs gave out on him. Are you familiar with Peloton bikes? He was doing a Peloton workout at home back in October, and he couldn't finish it. And they brought him to the hospital in Tampa, and I guess they couldn't get to the bottom of it. So AEW, showing certainly that they are a class organization, had him flown via helicopter to the Mayo Clinic up in Jacksonville.
Right.
And he remained there until he wound up passing. They did every test known to mankind to see if COVID was the reason behind it. It had nothing to do with COVID. It was some kind of his lungs gave out on him.
Something he had probably from birth.
And he would have had to have gone on a waiting list for an organ transplant. But, I mean, how many 6'5" men pass away with their lungs ready to give? But he was never healthy enough to be even put on the list.
Unbelievable,
to
huh?
receive. Unbelievable. A 41-year-old man, he leaves behind an 8-year-old and a 3-year-old son. I think this, again, will say a lot about AEW, Tony. Tony Khan, that runs the company, has already extended a contract to Luke Harper, Brody Lee, his 8-year-old son, as he's a big wrestling fan. When he's 18, if he wants to enter the world of professional wrestling in some capacity, he already has a legally binding contract. If that company is still in existence,
That's good.
he will have work for him. Isn't that something?
That's wonderful.
I wish every wrestling company out there, not to get too specific, would show that kind of kindness. Because the 3-year-old probably doesn't know what's going on, but for an 8-year-old to lose his dad like
Yeah.
that's tough.
I think the 3-year-old knows.
You think the 3-year-old
Oh, yeah.
understands the concept at this
Oh,
point?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, it's a tough loss all around.
Because it's something, when I was 6, I told you the story about where I got pushed into the creek
Yes.
by Jerry Hayes.
Yes.
I was 6.
Yeah.
I still remember his name.
Jerry Hayes.
I remember it like it happened yesterday.
But you weren't 3.
Yeah, but I remember everything about it
Yeah.
like it happened yesterday, because when something tragedy happened to you, I don't care if you're 2, 3, or 4, you will never forget it. It was a tragedy.
Do you know what happened to our director, Jackie, when he was 3? They called him Jackie the Joke Kid instead of Jackie the Joke Man. He was insulted. But again, in all seriousness, very, very sad situation. WWE, I think, is surprisingly gone above and beyond to try to honor the man where he was part of their roster and so friendly
Yeah.
with so many of the superstars for so
Well, that
long.
probably was something, sounded like me, was something he had all, his whole life, just never was detected.
Maybe I'm not a lung specialist, so
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or false. I would
Because
imagine.
then when people go, he probably never had his lungs looked at.
Yeah.
Like they have people that have a heart attack, and they found out that later on in life that they had like a heart murmur or something, you know, that.
But when you go to sign your WWE contract, they send you to Pittsburgh for that test. Don't you think
but
maybe?
everything don't get detected. There's some things just machines just don't detect. They don't show any signs, and you know, and it just slip on. There's a lot of stuff that science have not put an eye on yet. You know.
Well, there's been a lot of love shown to his kids and to his
Well, that's
family, and I
wonderful.
think
Like
that's
I said,
good.
I never knew the man. I think I saw him in person one time. I was at a gym. I was working independent, and he was running around the track. And that
He was
all-
from upstate New York, so you know you maybe have even bumped into him on the Indies and not even realized it.
I did. No, I knew who he was.
Oh, you know who he was?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because I seen him on TV. But as far as knowing him, or you know, he came over. He shook hands with me. I shook hands with him, and he went running
he
around the
kept
track
going.
again. Yeah, yeah. Our troop was there. The WWE was in town at the time, and I was doing a show. And the show was in Albany. It was a guy that used to do the Albany Comic-Con up there, and he wanted to get in to see the show. Finley was
The agent.
that night. And so when I called and asked, can I come back in the back and meet the boys, Finley said, "Oh, of course you can. Come on back here." So I went back, and the guy that booked me, I took him with me.
Well, that's nice.
That was in upstate New York. That was the only time my whole life that I ever met that guy.
Well,
And
Tony.
like I said, it was no long conversation then.
Yeah, it was very short.
Yeah, but he didn't know me, I didn't know him.
Well, we had a loss of an individual, maybe a man that you knew better from your days in the National Wrestling Alliance, the late, great Danny Hodge has passed away, Tony.
Now that's sad.
Now tell us about Danny Hodge.
Danny Hodge was an amazing individual. Not only was he a great amateur wrestler, he had joint strength in his hand that was like nobody else. You could take Danny Hodge to a junkyard and walk up to a motor that been sitting there for a long time and got rust around it. Danny could take his finger and unloosen that.
Really?
They used to put Danny Hodge on first match. He hated to be on first match. Danny would go in the shower and tighten the shower up so tight, that none of the boys could take a shower that night.
Why?
Because the grip, you couldn't, his grip.
It was a rib?
No, it was his grip. I mean, he'd take a pair of pliers and like this and break them. He'd take an apple, put in his hand, and crush it.
That is the most amazing feat of strength. I think it
was just in his hands. It was nowhere else. It was just his hand. One day, he grabbed me by the boot and cut off the. I felt my hand, my leg felt like I was in a bear trap. I mean, the most amazing grip. You ask anybody who knew Danny Hodge, all of his strength was in his hand. I mean, it wasn't.
How does one have double tendons in their hands?
I don't know. Later on, he told me a secret. You know how people get the.
He told you a secret?
Yeah, how you develop a straightened hand. You know how you always squeeze your hand like this?
Yeah.
Danny created this thing, and it was like a rubber band that go around each finger. And how he exercised his hand was like that.
Really?
It goes that way. He went that way.
Now, have you ever done it before?
I did it before, and all the muscles here you can feel it.
Really?
Yep, you can feel it. Hold your hand like this, Dan. Put your finger right on this muscle right here.
This one?
That one right there.
Yeah.
And now spread your finger and squeeze. Spread and squeeze. You feel the muscle
Yeah.
working?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, because these are the muscles here that never get worked.
Ah.
See? These muscles always get hurt. That's why the people, the palm of the hand is always fat. See, because it always get worked. This part never, that's why you see the tendons. There's muscles in between here. But you don't see the muscle because they undeveloped. And he learned how to develop the muscle in the back of the hand.
Wow.
Yeah,
well,
he showed me that a long time ago, but I never tried.
Other than Danny Hodge, the only person I know that has ever been able to break an apple with their bare hand was Glantz. But maybe a director in the back, picture that, Jackie. A man taking an apple in his hand and being able to squeeze it to juice just with the strength.
He was amazing. Well, you remember when they brought him back to WWF, when it was WWF, and he jumped in the ring and had the guys backed off of him.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
He wasn't that big, and all the guys.
No, he wasn't a big guy. He was a junior champion.
And as soon as he got in the ring, guys backed up because they didn't want him to grab them. Danny get a hold, you're never going to lose. I mean, it was like vice gripped hands. But like I say, his strength was only in his hands. Nowhere else.
He had no other strength other than his hands. Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah, Danny Hodge. Yep.
Interesting. An Olympic wrestler.
Yep.
Certainly,
champion.
he was a shooter.
Hell of a shooter.
Put him in the ring.
Hell of a shooter.
An acclaimed professional. One of the, I don't know if you'd call him one of the first of the junior heavyweights in professional wrestling, but I believe he was a 7-time NWA Junior World Champion.
Yeah.
So
well, when Danny broke into the business, there was all shooters. All the way up until around the 70s when it started changing. Up until the 70s, they were all shooters. I worked out with all of them. I knew just about all of them. You know, people don't know about Bob Orton Jr., a shooter. Bob Orton Sr., a shooter. The only Orton that is not a shooter is Randy.
Really? Well, I don't think Danny Hodge would do very well in a water balloon fight with the strength that he had.
I'll tell you who in AWE that is a shooter.
Who is this now?
Cody.
That's right. Yeah,
people don't know that.
Yeah, he has that amateur
He's a shooter.
background. Yeah.
Cody is a shooter too, and the people don't know that. Cody Rhodes is a hell of a shooter. I mean, he run all the college. Never lost in college, and went all the way through college, whooped everybody's ass.
Did you ever have a chance to travel with Danny Hodge?
No.
No.
Danny never worked my territory. See, they had territories then.
He was mainly based out of Oklahoma, I believe.
Right.
Am I right? Yeah.
Yeah, around Bill Watts and them guys, you know.
Leroy McGurk.
Right, and McGurk and all the guys. I was always with the Crockett, Barnett, Paul Jones. You know, I did a little bit of work in Mid-South when but Danny was working there before Bill Watts took it. It was another guy, McGirt, and them guys used to run that area. Another guy out in Kansas City was like Bob Geiger and Pat O'Connor. You know, them guys. So
you never worked Danny Hodge.
I'm glad I didn't.
Really?
Yeah.
Even you, with your massive strength, would
He
have
grabbed
been.
my boot, brother.
And what did it feel like when Danny grabbed your boot?
Like you ever seen them things that when you crank up and you crush things? Yeah. I thought you were gonna bust. I thought I could almost feel my bone just shattering underneath my skin.
Really?
Brother, unbelievable. I mean, I never felt like that. I never felt that type of strength in anybody.
Well, hopefully Danny
And
was.
it was all in his. Guys would not shake hands with him. He was at the Hall of Fame one year down in Amsterdam when it was on the Northeast, and he would go try to shake hands with somebody. Hey, how you doing, Danny?
And this is a man that passed away at 88 years old, and people were still worried about his handshakes, even at that age. Wow.
Because you don't lose that. Wouldn't nobody shake hands with him.
So if he wanted to, he could really put a hurting
Yeah.
on someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody knew that. Another guy that was like that, not hand straight, but like Carl Gotch.
Now let me ask you this: where we talk about the size of a lot of the top WWE guys in 2021, Danny was considered a junior heavyweight back in his.
But this is what if you look back, Danny never won. He never. See, they had weight classes.
Yeah.
They knew.
He was a junior
A
heavyweight.
junior heavyweight. They knew. Even with his power, he could have whooped most of the heavyweight, but to the audience, it just wasn't realistic.
It wouldn't have been credible.
Right, like you take Ox Baker, who was a giant of a man.
A man that loved free meals.
Right, but was a giant of a man. Big, rugged, big guy. You put him in the ring with Danny Hodge, even though Danny could beat him in suckers, who's going to believe it? See, remember I said what have
Credibility.
changed? What have changed in wrestling? What they do now, they insult the people intelligence. They insult the people intelligence. They want the people to believe in the unbeliever. That's why WWE is losing ratings are dropping on USA. And they've been dropping for quite a while now. The reason is, and I know if Vince listen to me, brother, you may think I'm just a dumb old country boy that don't know my butthole from a hole in the ground because I'm poor and you rich. But sometimes even a poor man can teach a rich man something. What it is, Vince got to bring back believability. The only guy that he got there now that I know of that could still do that in the ring is Triple H, hear me say that a lot of times, and Undertaker.
And they're both basically done.
So who are we going to replace him with? These guys are not believable. They remain, if you look at them, it's like Power Rangers.
What about the man that sits at the head of the table, the tribal chief Roman Reigns? You think he has any believability, any credibility?
I hadn't paid that much attention to him.
Yeah.
You know, but they have guys like Seth Rollins to beat him. See, he lose to, when you lose to somebody less physically than you are, it's kind of hard, kind of like a rock rider get in a fight with a chihuahua, and the chihuahua kick this rock out of butt.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, now you're going to take the rock rider and try to make a champion out of it. You posed that question to me not too long ago about Biggie.
Yeah.
You know, other than they made him into,
They're trying to push him as one of
Bozo
the-
the Clown. He's been
Yeah.
Bozo the Clown for the past 2 years or whatever.
Oh, longer than that.
Long after that, you've been playing Bozo.
And now they
all of a
want
sudden,
him
you want to make him into
A serious babyface threat.
Yeah, you know, the people already, yeah, you know, they hurt themselves back in the back because they try to make the people believe in the unbelievable.
Yeah.
There's just certain things like Mile Jack. I tell everybody here, if they would do a real match, not a working match, a shooting match, with Mara Jack and Ronda Rousey, my money on Mara Jack all day long.
Why do you think Jax could take Rousey?
She's much more powerful.
But
See,
Rousey's a trained fighter.
Rousey ain't never
Just
been-
like you were talking about
Rousey-
Danny Hodge a
I
few
know,
minutes ago.
But it's different with them big Samoan women. They got this natural, like Haku. Haku is not a trained fighter. But with Haku in his younger days, I put him against any of them damn guys. You know, that Sika, Roman Reigns' father. I mean, I've seen guys in this business whoop guys, trained fighters.
Who is the
Look
batter?
at what Monsoon did to Muhammad Ali.
Well, I'm going to ask you this, Tony. You've been in this business since
Think about Gorilla Monsoon.
and Muhammad Ali from the 70s. I remember
Come on
that.
now. I mean, you could tell Muhammad Ali wouldn't have lasted 3 seconds with Monsoon. These guys, they ligaments and they tendon, looking at it from a structural part. You see, Rousey, everybody she wrestles is in her side, and they fight her way. The worst person to fight, to wrestle, in wrestling, is the guy that don't know how to wrestle. Everything is unorthodox. You ain't trained for nothing they're going to do. Rousey is trained for certain moves. Just like a boxer, they train for certain punches and stuff. A street fighter would beat up a boxer because he don't, the rule change.
Like that fight, I think it was in Japan with Billy Robinson and Peter Maivia.
Exactly.
When he threw Billy Robinson through a window.
Billy Robinson, and he's a trained fighter.
Yeah.
But guess what? Black
Did
Jack
you ever hear
Mulligan-
that story?
Black Jack Mulligan, I know, but I saw Black Jack Mulligan who take on a shooter named Bob Roop.
Bob Roop,
Lasted about 30 seconds.
who went over? Roop?
Mulligan.
Oh, Mulligan, all right.
Mulligan hit him one time with them clubs. Roop dropped to one knee. Mulligan uppercut him and brought him up. I thought it was a work at first. He hit him, he went down. Then he went under, hit him, he comes up. This time he came up, went straight back. That was in Florida, where I worked for Mario Savoni. I've seen it.
You've been around Andre. You were around Holly Race.
Hey.
You were around the Barbarian.
I was over.
Haku?
I was over in Japan with
Yeah.
all these karate
Yeah.
and shooters from
Yeah.
Japan trying to take on Andre. I don't give a shit what you know. Andre, he threw him around like you were throwing around a piece of paper. Guys like, women like Mara Jack, can you imagine how thick her ligaments are?
I bet there's a lot that's thick about
And
Nia.
well, she's heavy at the bottom.
Yeah.
Rousey can't handle that weight. That's about
It'd be interesting.
That's about a 270-pound woman.
It's a big woman.
Yeah, he's still 100 pounds, and she's not fat. I mean, these are big, you know, like Alpha and Secret, they're younger days. I mean, their butts are like this, thighs like this. You can't move them.
As I was,
Bam Bam Bigelow was not a trained fighter, but no shooter wanted to mess with Bam Bam Bigelow. I've seen it. Ronda Rousey will not last one round with Mara Jack. Trust me.
you don't think she could blow Jax up?
No.
Really?
No.
All right.
Because it won't go that long.
I'm going to ask you this. You were around Andre. You were around
Because
Holly.
how is she going to get Mara Jack off of her?
We'd have to watch, I guess, to see how it played out.
Think about how she's going to. If Mara Jack get her in that corner, how is Rousey going to get out of it? With all that weight and strength and power. I don't care what you do.
If she cornered her.
She will.
All right.
She can't even hook them legs. You can't put a hook on somebody when you can't wrap around them.
Fair enough.
I tried that one time. Who was I wrestling? Bundy. And Bundy was not a tough guy. I tried to bar hug Bundy. What bar hug? I couldn't get my arms around him. I did turn into what the Fantastic Four with the stretch.
Yeah.
I had to, if you can't stretch, you can't, some of these guys, you can't put a hold on them.
I'm going to ask you
That's
this.
why my younger days, none of the shooters had a hard time shooting with me. My arms were so big, they couldn't lock it in. My arms were too big.
They tried.
Yeah, but they couldn't get
They were
that.
too thick.
Yeah, like a chicken wing that Bob Backlund put on people. They put certain people in the ring with Bob. Because everybody's not that flexible in the shoulder. You know the chicken wing, it go around your neck and up around your arm and back. You had to be flexible or small in order to put that hold on you. You watch some of the old tapes of Sergeant Slaughter, he had some of them big guys, he couldn't put that cobra clutch on them all the way. They're really long, but you could see the hand is not even touching.
Yeah. Well,
See, that you can't do everything to everybody.
I'm going to try and get this in now for the 9th time, Tony. You were around Andre, you were around Harley Race, Barbarian. Was Haku the toughest of the tough?
No.
Who was the toughest guy that
See,
you ever came across?
Haku got his reputation because what Haku did, what Haku did was back in this damn thing. What Haku did happened in the 90s.
Clip it on, Tony. Clip it on.
Yeah, what Haku did was in the 90s.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? In the 70s, you couldn't get in the business unless you were tough. Like Mad Dog Vachon.
Who was the toughest you ever saw in shared a locker room with?
Swede Hanson.
Swede Hanson. I've never heard that name come up when it comes to the all-time list. What made Swede Hanson such a tough guy?
Swede Hanson's body felt like a rock. Swede Hanson was 6'4", 300 pound, rock solid hard. That's why they call him raw bone. Swede Hanson had a 6-inch punch that could knock anybody out. Swede Hanson had mitts for hands. Swede Hanson was an ex-professional fighter. Another tough guy that nobody knew about, who was an ex-boxer also, was Nikolai Volkov.
Really?
There was a lot of tough guys, but they never promote their toughness.
Viziri.
Yeah, but they never promoted what he was.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a Shah of Iran personal bodyguard. He never carried a weapon. He was a freaking
He was
weapon.
the weapon.
See what I'm saying? But they didn't push that.
So
about.
I'm going to ask
like Mark Henry. It wasn't until later on they started pushing his strength.
Yeah.
They never really promote his strength. Patero, they never really promoted
You
that.
talking about Ken Patera
Ken
or
Patera.
Patera Rastani?
No, Ken Patero.
Oh.
If you stop and look back on it, they never really promoted his strength. In fact, they want him to lose weight and look more like a bodybuilder. Which, when he done that, he lost strength.
So I'm going to ask you this, Tony. If it was just a back of a bar after a wild Saturday night, Haku and Swede Hanson went at it, you think Swede would take Haku?
It'd been close.
Really? But
Yeah,
Swede was that tough,
but
you're even
Swede
putting him
made
in the
two of 'em.
conversation.
You got to realize Swede was much bigger in real life.
So how big was Swede?
I'd say about 6'4", maybe 350, 360 in real life. But he had these gigantic hands. His hands was as big as Andre's. Mulligan had these big hands too.
I see
he
he was done by the time I started watching.
See, these guys used to be. I saw Sweet one day. We were riding down the road. He liked me country music from New Jersey. Sweet was. Remember they had the CB.
Yeah.
The CB, talk on the CB.
Yeah.
Breaker, 19. And Sweet is drinking his beer, driving down the street. He throw the beer cans out the window. There you go. Some trucker. Hey, stop doing that. Throwing them fucking beer cans out the window. Sweet said, why don't you stop me from doing it? And back in the old days, they didn't have the GPS and all this, so people would go by the maps and mile marker. Sweet said, well, I'm at mile marker 122. Why don't you pull over at mile marker 22 and make me stop throwing out my beer can? The truck was stupid enough to do it.
Wow.
Sweet got out, the truck pulled in front of us, this big 18-wheeler. Sweet got out, you stay here.
Well, you were in the car?
I was in the car. Reach up, Sweet always drove a van. And Sweet reached up in the car, pulled the guy through the fucking window, beat the fuck out of him, opened the door up and threw him back in there.
He pulled him out of his own car through the window, beat the fuck out of him,
And
then
threw
threw
right
him
back
back into the
Threw him
car.
right back in the truck. And this was not a small guy. The guy get on about 30 minutes later, he get back on the CB. If you see a guy in a green van with mag rims, because he had mag rims, that was a thing back in the 70s, let him go. Let him go. He said, I felt like I was fighting a Sasquatch. He said, I've never met a man like Sweet. Me and SD was walking one day in Boston, right there in Boston, in what they call Hell Kitchen.
Yeah.
A combat zone, we used to call
Yeah.
it. The Chinatown, that little area. And Sweet came out of a bar, and we saw some guys, as SD said, let's go help them, boss man. I said, them guys are going to jump Sweet. Because they was hiding behind the door. The one was on this side, one was on this side. And one guy came up to Sweet. It was three of them. He comes to Sweet to get Sweet attention. Well, while they were getting Sweet attention, these guys were going to jump Sweet. So me and SD trying to get to Sweet as quickly as we can. Bang, bang, bang. Sweet kept walking. And SD said, did you fucking see that? I said, yeah.
Swede was that bad.
Sweet, bad. But it was a Mad Dog Vachon.
Do you think Mad Dog could he take Haku?
It would have been close too. See, that's what y'all don't realize. These guys never got publicity. The only people that knew about their toughness was the boys. The promotion never promoted them. Like how many?
Well, to be fair, I don't think WWF ever really promoted Haku as some badass.
Well, yeah, because other wrestlers tell you from the nannies.
Yeah.
See, everything, remember I said that everything we talk about is like there was no wrestling before the nannies.
Yeah.
That's how we talk. If you wrestle in the 80s, nobody knows you. You wrestle in the 70s, nobody knows you. You wrestle in the 60s, nobody knows you. You wrestle in the 90s, oh yeah, I remember him. We always start from the nannies up. The difference between the 70s and the 90s, in the 70s, you had to be tough to be in the business. They had territory. You lived with your fans. It wasn't like, you travel and nobody knows you.
Right.
When you go to the gym, your fans is at the gym. They know where your house is. They know where you go
to the
eat.
supermarket.
They know, when you go, they know. I mean, we live with the fans. So if you got into a street fight with a mark and lost, you was fired automatically.
You were done.
You was done. So they'd have bar fights all the time, and guys would try wrestling. I was in a bar one day up in Canada. Where was this? Oh shit! What the frick name of that town? I remember I caught the train to get there, out in Calgary somewhere. With Stu Hart was the promoter, and was all these wrestlers in. And Mac Dog was not a very big guy. This guy kept talking about wrestling is fake. So they said, well, that guy is a wrestler. And that little, because Mad Dog was only like about 5'7", 5'8". And he was the only guy in there wrestling that was under 6 feet. So the guy decided he's going to go pick on Mad Dog. Didn't know. And then Butcher could tell you the story better. Butcher Vachon, he was with him. And Butcher said, it's a good thing he didn't come out to me because I can't fight. But Butcher was the bigger of the two, but he couldn't fight. He wasn't a big softy. Mad Dog was an animal. So anyway, the guy wanted to fight with Mad Dog. Mad Dog grabbed him and pulled him to him and bit his nipple off of his chest.
He bit his nipple off.
Bit a chunk of meat out of his chest.
Wow.
Well, how do you bite?
Well,
I mean, come on, he bite. I bite. He bit a piece of meat out of his chest. He spit it in the guy's face and
he
said,
spit his nipple at him.
Bit a piece of meat out of his chest and spit it in the guy's face. I can't say the word Mad Dog said, but it was sea sucker.
What was the word?
Like your sucker.
Like your what?
Well, cocksucker.
Oh.
You
Tony, you know we have no restrictions on this show.
I try to be a little bit more decent, but not down there. Go for the juggler. But anyway.
He said, you're a Lanny Poffo.
Yeah, but he said, come on, cocksucker, let's go. The guy looked down and saw his chest run out the door. Moolah saved Bob, Randy Orton, father in a bar fight.
Bob Orton Jr.?
No, Senior.
Senior. How did that happen?
What happened was Bob Orton Senior got into a fight with a guy, but the guy had friends. One of the friends was going to jump Bob Senior, and Moolah took a bottle and hit the guy and started beating him with a stool.
Really?
Moolah, yeah, I see Moolah in street fight. We all got into them back in them days. That drew money. That's how we got the housing. People, we get arrested. We pay the promoter, we pay the fine, and little by little deduct it from your frickin' check.
Yeah.
Cheap pricks. Take it from your check. But when we came back to town, the building was full. There's a story that what happened to me, they want to haze me to see if I could fight. They take me into a redneck bar, that mostly Klansmen and bikers and anti-black people, I was the only black person that ever been in this bar. To see if I paid the guys $50 to jump me, 3 guys to jump me.
Did you take them?
I became champion.
Wow.
Because they couldn't take me. And that's how they would test you. That's why a lot of guys, if you talk to the old timers, like Klondike Bill, a lot of them are not living now. They didn't like Hogan. And the reason Hogan was never Hayes.
Well, they did break his leg.
And he came back.
Yeah.
That's why they didn't want him. They say he's just a big wuss.
Well, I think he proved his toughness. If they broke the man's leg to see how bad he wanted the business.
Yeah, but the way they figure, if they could do it, a fan probably could do it too. That's what you got to understand the mentality behind that. You see, when I first came down, they brought shooters to work out with me. The Sheed, Carl Gotch, Gene, not Olet, but Gene
Anderson.
Gene Anderson. All the toughies. I worked out with them each and every day.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I couldn't beat them all, but they couldn't really handle me either. That's how the business was out of the 60s. So you got to realize everybody that trained me was a star in the 50s and the 60s. That's why when I talk, it's hard for people to understand me, because when I'm talking, you listen to wrestling out of the 50s and 60s when it was wrestling. Then Vince, after his father died in 85 or 86.
I think it was 82 or 80,
yeah,
maybe
and then,
83.
And then once Virginia and a couple of wrestlers, he couldn't handle. You know, he couldn't handle. He stopped bringing in these shooters. You know, because he couldn't handle us guys. You know how many times that Vince tried to make me look like a piece of crap, but he couldn't find nobody to do it in the ring. I did the job for 2 years. How come I left there so popular? Why did SD left there, did the job for 16 years and was just as popular as the guy that beat him? Why come? Because in real life they couldn't do what?
Take him.
And people knew that.
Well, I got one more for you.
SD and Johnny Rods was another tough guy. And Johnny Rods got in the Hall of Fame, was just as popular, did nothing but jobs his whole life, except that one time they put him with the medic. Yeah. Him and Jose. How come Johnny Rods had such a big name like all these other guys, and he never won a title, never became a big star? What was it about Johnny Rods? Because in the ring, if you couldn't fight for real, Johnny would beat the hell out of you for 70% of the match. Yeah. SD would kick the crap out of you for 70% of the match. So by even you won the match, but lost the war.
All right, Tony, as we wrap up the show, one more superstar that passed away. I think it may have been perhaps a little before your time, but we're going to try it anyway. Bobby Davis passed away not too long ago. Bobby Davis, he was one of the original heel managers in the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, along with Wild Red Berry. He was the manager of Buddy Rogers when he was the first WWF champion back in the 60s. I'm going to guess, did you ever have any interactions with Bobby Davis?
Probably don't know it, don't remember. I probably did it, don't remember. You know,
would you recognize Bobby Davis?
No.
No. All right. Well, we're going to miss.
I saw Charlie Fulton before he passed away. I didn't even know who he was. Because none of them looked like they did.
We're going to miss Bobby Davis. He was one of the original managers in that company. I think WWE could have done maybe a little more to honor Bobby, even though he really wasn't someone that I think fans of 2021 would be all that familiar with if his prime was in the 60s. But
yeah, see, they're them the guys that trained me.
And those are the guys that trained you. All right, wrestling fans. Jackie, I got to ask you to head on over to the center camera, baby, as Tony continues his work on the 2021 Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive. Next week.
So you only got a few of these.
There's only a few.
But
see, he signs a card, and then he tells a story for 15 minutes, and he only signs 6 throughout the whole half an hour. All right, we'll be back next Tuesday night with another big episode. Don't forget, tomorrow night, Wednesday, 10 p.m., it's Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Thursday night, we'll be back with Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty at 10 o'clock with Tony's longtime close personal friend, Marty Jannetty.
Just don't burn no crosses.
Then we wrap up the week with the man whose peace is always on fire, baby. Look at that. That's what happens when he puts the glue on the piece. John Cena Sr. is back at 10 o'clock after SmackDown. For my Hall of Fame partner in crime, Mr. USA Tony Atlas, I'm Dan Marati. Until we speak again, folks, you and yours be well, stay healthy. Good night.
The World Wrestling Federation was live at the Los Angeles Sports Arena in Los Angeles, California, Friday, January the 26th, 1990. In the opening contest, Earthquake beat the Red Rooster. Coco Beware with the win over Black Bart. Superfly Jimmy Snuka defeated Greg the Hammer Valentine. WWF Intercontinental Champion The Ultimate Warrior retained the title over Dino Bravo. Rugged Ronnie Garvin victorious over the Brooklyn Brawler. WWF Tag Team Champions The Colossal Connection retained the titles over Demolition via countout. And in the main event, Rowdy Roddy Piper defeated Ravishing Rick Rude inside a steel cage. If you were in Los Angeles live, share your memories in the comment section below. Use the links in the description box to keep Wrestling Legends working on our eBay store and on our acclaimed Patreon streaming service so we can bring you more interactive shoot interviews to relive the good old days of professional wrestling. Check it out. Boston wrestling sports in the MWF explodes into a new year with professional wrestling content galore and need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after our Monday Night Raw review, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. after NXT and AEW, join rotating legends on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's No Holds Barred Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll Journey on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday night after SmackDown, don't miss John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, history videos, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. For less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, get early ad-free access to our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and help keep Wrestling Legends working during the worst of times. Join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Expect the unexpected in 2021. All right, wrestling fans, sometimes the fans hear the ambiance behind me beyond the background music we use. I know a lot of fans and folks in the car, they have AM radio, they have FM radio. Here at MWF Studios, though, we have what we like to call FFM music, which stands for French folk music. One of our great producers here at the studio enjoys a little FFM and leaves it on for me to try and enjoy a quiet ambiance as I produce all of these great shows for you guys. As always, Tony's good for interesting conversation, insight, and laughs. Now it's time for one of the prodigy Matt Degnan's favorites, one of his favorites, that being Nasty Boy's Brian Knobbs, taking us down memory lane on how he and Jerry Saggs left the NWA in the middle of a big feud with the Steiner brothers, their early days in the WWF from 1990 into early 1991, including the Royal Rumble pay-per-view itself. Don't forget, again, folks, please share the link to this and all of our great videos across your social media platforms so we can get this great free wrestling talk with a variety of wrestling stars and legends out there. There's a share button right on Facebook so all of your friends can check it out. On YouTube, there's a share button that sends the link to multiple platforms. It doesn't cost you a single penny. I am humble enough to know that while our programs and our channel has grown leaps and bounds compared to this point last year, there are millions of wrestling fans that have no idea we exist, especially lapsed fans that gave up on a modern-day quote-unquote sports entertainment. Let's get them back in the mix with some great wrestling talk tonight. You guys can help the legends directly.
All right, wrestling fans, welcome back to Wrestling Insiders. Very happy to have Brian Knobbs of the Nasty Boys with us here in studio. You guys have wanted him for a while. Here he is.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Hopefully the first of many visits to come.
Yes, definitely, definitely. This place is unbelievable.
Awesome
studio.
I hopefully someday it'll be under my name, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to be here nonetheless. We've produced a lot of great content over the past 19 years, Brian. Usually in this show right about now, we're trying to take a look at the great times in the what was WWF, now WWE. Of course, almost like a tree, your career has many branches and places and leaves that it's been. So we'll see what direction the great adventure takes us. But we'll start from the beginning. December of 1990, you had the Ultimate Warrior as the World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Champion. Mr. Perfect was the Intercontinental Champion. Bret Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart, the Tag Team Champions. WWF was in a bit of a rut. 1990 was not a great year at the door. And to try and freshen things up in the fall of 1990, Vince McMahon gave notice to over a dozen stars, and a lot of new faces started to pop up. And as noted, in December, one of the final TV tapings of the year was the debut of recent WCW superstars, Brian Knobbs and Jerry Saggs. How did it come to be? What brought the Nasties to the World Wrestling Federation?
The match between the Steiners, Halloween Havoc, WCW, 1990. Anybody want to look at that? Go to the network. They have it. Awesome match. We went about 24, 25 minutes. And it was crazy, and a great match. They're great guys, they're great wrestlers, and we had a program going with them. And after that match, about a week later, Hulk called me and said, "Hey, Vince wants to talk to you, and wants you to bring you guys up." And I told him he was full of shit, and he was bullshitting me, and he goes, "No, I'm serious, he's gonna call you." And in about 10 minutes, Vince called me, and we had a conversation, and he said he'd like to have us come up there. And, I said, well, they're working on a contract right now and this and that. And then he goes, well, I have just no money contracts, but I guarantee you'll make probably 3 to 4 times more than they're offering you.
Wow.
And he wasn't lying. So, we said yes.
So WCW had you guys in a pretty good position, but you weren't under contract.
Yeah, we were just like not like a 2 or 3 year. We were just on a little short contract,
one.
And then all of a sudden, right after that Steiner match, they wanted to sign us, and they offered us this, and that was right after the Steiner match, and it happened so fast that before they had a chance to sit down with us and that, we were there for about 6 months, and Vince is calling. That's where you want to be. If you're a pro wrestler, you want to be in a WrestleMania.
Right.
That is kind of, if you were never at a WrestleMania and you're a pro wrestler, that's what you want to do. And at that time, they were only on 7. Now they're on, what, 35?
It'll be 37 next
37.
year. Wow,
Unbelievable.
isn't that something?
So 30 years ago we were on, so...
Did you guys, I think Jerry said when he was with us, you had a meeting with Hurd and Jim Ross to try and sign you?
Yeah, then they, Jim Ross kind of, went to the Steiners, and because we weren't going to do the job on the way out because we're going to Vince, we just signed it, and the Steiners stuck with us, said, hey, man, these guys did everything we ever wanted. They're great guys. We love working with them, and whatever they want to do and how they want to finish it up. And it was a DQ on us, but, Jim Ross was plugging for us to get beat right in the middle before we go up there, and Steiner stuck with us. And
wow.
Yeah.
Dude, that's impressive.
Yeah. Well, we're good friends with Robbie and Scotty, and been good friends with them a long time. I mean, back in the day, when we first got there, they were supposedly hurting people, and all they were doing was they know how to wrestle, both Michigan,
Yeah.
And me and Sag were barroom fighters. So we learned from Vern Gagne. So, we knew, from Vern and getting taught by Brad, we knew how to brawl and fight. And plus, we knew how to work.
Yeah.
They taught you how to work, every day working, these different territories, then going down to Jarrett's territory and working every day, and then driving on the road and talking over your matches. And that really helped. I mean, it really toned you up. So by the time we hit WCW, we were ready. We were ready to, we've been there. We've been Florida Championship Wrestling. We were in South Atlantic, and then,
Memphis.
Memphis, that's Jarrett. Jerry Lawler and Jerry Jarrett owned it.
Right.
Mid-South, So, all of these places, you worked every day. Even Florida Championship Wrestling with Mike Graham and Steve Kernan and Dusty came in, you know, and that was before Dusty left to go up the WWE or WWF, and then they put the polka dots on him and stuff, and he got that over. So, you know, you can't mess with the dream. He's a true legend.
He made it work.
Yeah, he made it work because they're getting funky like a monkey and pumped if you're real, baby. You know, so. But then from then on, it was, you know, right after that, they brought us right in on in 1990, November, and I said it earlier that it was me, Sag, and Mark, Undertaker.
Undertaker, yep.
We all came in together in November, I think, like maybe middle or third week of November. We signed a deal with them, and then before you know it, we're wrestling the Bushwhackers, and it was all to get us ready for, you know, WrestleMania.
Now,
and we didn't know that, though. I mean, we didn't know nothing. I mean, they asked me, and I don't know why Sag wasn't in it, and the Royal Rumble in 1991, and I thought, okay, they need somebody up. And then I look on the board, and the last three in the ring are me, Earthquake, and Hogan. I'm like, what the, are you kidding me? And I found the, you know, the power of Hulkamania to hearing the fans, and so, you know, he goes, well, how do you want to go out? And I said, give me the big boot. And I'll go over backwards like this. And he said, you sure you can make that bump? You're pretty big. And I said, I definitely will make that bump. And, man, I didn't even touch that top rope. I was so amped up, you know what I mean? And it was me and Earthquake and him at the end. And then him and Earthquake had a little deal. And that's when they had their little, you know, deal going on. And I think Sarge came in at the end there to make the match for WrestleMania, you know, so.
Now, what were your first impressions of Vince McMahon as you started to interact with him?
Nice guy, knew his stuff, and, you know, like any other boss, you know. He's the boss, so you're listening to what he says, and, you know, we had our own thing, so we would, you know, chime in, and, you know, sometimes they put some of the stuff in, sometimes they didn't, and Pat was there at the time, Patterson, helping him out, so, you know, that was, you know, it took us a while, like 5 years to get our character down, because when we went, when you watch our matches first in AWA, we were wearing spandex yellow and boots and the wrestle thing, and all of a sudden, when we went down to Mid-South, Jerry the King Lawler said, you guys call yourself the Nasty Boys, but you don't look like it. You should be more like a street. And then that's what gave us the thing to put sweatshirts, splash them up, Nasty Boys. And another thing is to cover our bodies up, only our arms stuck out. So this way, you know, you didn't see us being, you know, the fat guys we were. It covered that up. So, you know, we were the first ones that started covering up the bodies, you know, which was good. And the only thing we didn't like is Jerry Lawler's a great artist, so he would paint our faces for TV. When he did it,
you wore face paint?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, he did it. You know, and then when we had to do it on the road, it looked like two kindergarten kids did it, and we didn't like it. Not only because of that reason, because then it's really copying the Road Warriors.
Right.
Because we came in the camp with these haircuts, so right away people were going Road Warriors. But at the time, we didn't even know who the Road Warriors were, because, well, all we got was WWF, or at the time it was WWWF. You know, I go all the way back to Bruno and Zabisco and Pampiro Firpo and Toru Tanaka and Mr. Fuji when they were wrestling, because they used to do TV in Hamburg and then Philly, but then the studio burned down in Philly, then they brought it to Allentown, so they would do Hamburg and Allentown, and then all the guys would be in the back, you know, Chief J Strongbow, and, you know, all them guys were still wrestling. So, you know, that was when I was young.
I know the contract wasn't for any kind of guaranteed money, but was it for a certain length of time, as far as number of years?
You know what? I don't remember. I think it was. I think it was for like 3 years, maybe. Might have been a 3-year contract. I don't remember. I just know it was no money, but you know. But we made money. Right.
Now, did they ever, where you had prior usage of the Nasty Boys, it would be a gimmick that you could go on to own, as you still do to this day.
Yeah.
Did they ever pitch a character to you that they could own or tweak it, or no? They just wanted the Nasty Boys.
that match said it all. But they must have been watching before that, but that match is what put it over the top. If you're watching, it is good. And then,
Oh, yeah.
well, Kevin Sullivan went to me, and I said, well, Kevin, you know, and Kevin goes, well, if I were you, he says, I would take Scotty's finish right in the middle. So he gave me the Frankensteiner and pinned me right in the middle. But then afterwards, we got our heat back. He got, threw Ricky into the steel post, and he hurt his shoulder. So now Scotty's out doing an interview, and he's, going, I'm going to get you. And then all of a sudden behind him comes a popcorn vendor with a beard, and it's SAG going, popcorn, peanuts, while he's talking on the, doing his interview. And all of a sudden, like, Scotty looked at him like, who is this guy? And he went, Nasty Boys if you want. And all of a sudden, here comes SAG with the whole tray of crap he had, hit it over, and, knocked him out. You know what I mean? Knocked him, let him lay, and I came running out. We put the boots to him. Steiners, we're not over yet. And I said it so fast, I don't even know what I said. And it sounded like a big blur. But, yeah, and then another thing we did on our own there was when we had the signing in Chicago, we took their belts and knocked them over the head with them. That's the first time anybody really laid the Steiners out. So that helped to get to that match. So, and it was all about that match. Right after that, man, it wouldn't even take a week, but told you Hulkster called me. I thought he was really, BSing me.
Ribbing you, yeah.
Yeah, ribbing me, like, okay, right, thanks, yeah, right, Hulks. I said, all right, big man, thanks. I said, no, he's going to call you. And he did like 5-10 minutes later.
At what point did you learn that you were going to be aligned at the hip with the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, to try and give you some credibility?
They just put him with us. And, the first road trip, we went on a 10-dayer, and he drove with us and everything like that. And then when we landed in Tampa, because he lived in Tampa too, he goes, I love you guys, but from now on, you guys could get your own car and this and that, because we were actually 3 of us in the room, we were doing that,
Oh, you were even splitting the room together, the three of you?
Me, SAG, and Jimmy, and then 10 days of that, Jimmy went, you guys are on your own now. I taught you, this is how it is, so be on time, blah, 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 blah. But he's still one of the best managers, and we didn't have too many. We had Missy Hyatt, that Dusty gave us, but Jimmy actually helped us and still helps us to this day. He's still, me and him are still best of friends. We, talk to each other all the time, and I call him the hardest working man in show business.
He's almost 80 years old, and he still goes like he's in his 30s. It's unbelievable.
Going, still looks, same.
Spends a lot of time on that here. Let me ask you this. Your first TV taping right in Tampa, Florida. Any memories of that day? Did any veterans come to you and give you some good advice, maybe some bad advice, some people that weren't happy to see you come to the company?
I would like to, have a story about that, but
what do we got?
I forget what happened last week. That actually really, because some of the things I see now. There was a 6-man we had, and Piper and the Bushwhackers against us and Molly. And that was in Tampa. Don't remember that. Oh, don't remember that at all. And it was a good match. I go, how didn't I remember that? I mean, and Pipes was in there, So, there's every once in a while something will catch me off guard, and,
well, sometimes you just need to jog the memory. That's all. And that's why these shows are great, because some guys have said they're not only like interviews, but sometimes they're like therapy.
Well, one thing was when we did get there. Kurt Hennig was our mentor, and we did so much stuff. We got fired from AWA a couple times, and it wasn't our fault, but, Kurt always had something to do with it. He was the king of the ribs because he learned from Mr. Fuji, but he was up there. The Rockers were there, and all these guys that we grew up with, in 86, 87, AWA, and we were in Mid-South together. So when we finally got up there, all them guys were already there and kind of established. Yeah, a lot of friends that would help us and told the other guys that these guys are cool, this and that, and so.
So no one was ribbing you or anything when you first got on the scene?
Oh, please, yes.
Oh, really? There was some ribbing going on.
Yeah, well, Kurt,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know how many times I lost eyebrows, and your bag locked to you, ready to leave, and your bag's chained to the seat. You can't leave without. You got to go get the guy to get a key or a bolt cutter, all kind of ribs, dude. I mean, yeah,
But most of it good-natured.
yeah, everything was good natured. Yeah, nothing was meant to hurt. Yeah, it was funny, So, but I miss Kurt. He was our mentor. Miss him big time. I'm glad for Joe. And I'm glad for Bo, Rotundo's kid, and Wyatt.
Yeah.
Because we wrestled. Mike was good friends with us in WCW, and then he was up there at his IRS, and what I mean. So we knew a lot of the guys that were with us, in different places are now up there. So actually it made the transition very easy.
Easy transition when you knew so many people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So we had a good time.
Also at that first TV taping, kind of a memorable incident for one of the co-hosts of this show, our good friend on Thursday night at 10 p.m., Mr. Party with Marty Jannetty himself. The enhancement talent, Chuck Austin, took the rocker dropper wrong and broke his neck.
Oh, yeah.
He wound up suing the company and was awarded over $26 million, costing Marty $500K out of pocket. Any memories of that happening on what was a huge night for you guys preparing for your TV debut?
Yeah, but nobody knew how bad he was until
really?
after.
Okay.
Yeah, well, they got him out of there. You didn't know. The emergency was right there. They took him and they shot him right to the hospital. So we didn't know till after how bad he really was. You know what I mean?
People knew he was injured, but no one knew to what
nobody
extent.
knew how bad he was. Yeah,
And what I found was kind of amusing, and this is a question they always want us to ask. His partner that night was the genius Lanny Poffo, a Florida man himself. What are your thoughts on Lanny? The fans love this. I'm not quite sure why, but Lanny has a special skill. The service, you know what I mean? The fellatio. What is it about the self-service with Lanny that he enjoys so much? Did you ever witness it in the locker room?
No.
Or? You never witnessed it?
No.
No, all right.
No.
Well, many
If
have.
you're talking what I think you're talking about.
Yeah, servicing.
Yeah. No,
He said he never had to quarantine from himself this year. He was never alone.
No, I never. No.
I just couldn't imagine trying to get my body in that position, but that's just me, I guess.
I don't know, but no, he didn't. Lanny was on with other guys. We had our crew, which was Kurt and Taker and Yoko and Godfather or Papa. We knew Papa back in '89. He was Baron Schmiede in South Atlantic. John Studd was there.
Oh, wow.
George Scott started it up with Ringley. And,
yeah. Okay, that's right. What was his
we
name
had Paul
again?
Jones.
What was Papa Shango's name there again?
Baron Schmiede.
Baron Schmiede. I never knew that. Okay,
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, and then he told me the character's real name, how they got it, and it was pretty amazing when I just talked to him. I still talk to him all the time too. He's a true
good egg.
brother.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's
yeah,
a good guy.
true brother.
He's been here in this studio
Yeah,
too.
he's funny and good guy, man. Good-hearted guy.
After they get you over on TV with a few enhancement match wins, you started the house show loops at first with a couple of good friends of ours, Luke and Butch the Bushwhackers. Memories of your house show runs with the men from down under.
Awesome. And they never complained because we were stiff. I'm just going to tell you, that's what made we got so long so good with the Steiners, but we were young and stiff and never complained, ever. And we used to have some awesome matches with them. We had some, great. I mean, we were the first match with 94,000 people at Wembley Stadium. Nobody knows it because it wasn't on the pay-per-view, but it was them and Hacksaw against me, Sag, and the Mountie.
Yeah.
And when you're the first match, man, nobody did nothing yet, so the people were going nuts. And 94,000. I was like, you just think about that. I mean, like, wow, what a amazing, what a memory, and what an amazing event to be at and be involved in.
And they went from being these ultra-violent sheep herders to the fun-loving bushwhackers.
Yeah.
Talk about a transition.
Yeah, they used to be crazy. Back in the day.
Just look at their foreheads.
They were, I think, what did Luke say, over 45 years now. I think they've
He's
been
in his
yeah,
early
60.
70s,
Well,
my God, yeah.
60, the early 60s, and all over. You know, started in New Zealand. You know, and with Steve Ricard and them, and then you know, him and Butch, and two of the greatest guys, and they lived down in Florida too. We all lived down there, you know, so it was, you know.
Bushwhacker Beach.
Yeah, so we could always get down there and, you know, get together. So we always got together for, you know, different affairs and birthdays and stuff like that, you know.
With Bushwhacker Butch, I don't know if you heard about this, but he's actually coming back to the States for the first time in quite a while to do a little mini tour this spring.
That's what Luke told me.
Yeah, that'll be great.
I talk to Luke all the time, too. Yeah, Luke's a good guy.
Oh, Luke was supposed to be with us for the drive, too. I was disappointed that we
Yeah.
weren't able to make that happen, but I'm still hoping that as the day we tape this, that magic package arrives from Tampa, Florida, that he sent up that's been delayed because of the weather. But
Yeah.
Dan Luck, as I call it.
Yeah.
Dan Luck, as I call
Well,
it.
the mail's been screwy, too.
Oh, yeah.
Where we are, so. But, yeah, Bushwhackers were great. We loved working with them. We had... I would say up to, so we started in December, like going with the routine. So we went with them December, January, February, March, and then right there at the end of March, that's when we switched over to the you know, Heart Foundation,
Right,
and we
that
didn't know
program.
that. And a lot of guys, I think, got mad. I know, like the Road Warriors were there for a year and they still didn't have the belts.
Right.
Power and Glory, they were kind of, you know, well, these guys just come in, they're young, and, you know, so, but no problems at all, but it was just, you know.
Jealousy.
You know, we were just listening to Vince. He's
Right.
the owner. Hey, we didn't say nothing. We didn't know we were going to win or anything till, you know, like maybe 2-3 days before, you know.
Oh, you had a heads up that you were going to go over.
No, we didn't
Oh,
know.
you didn't have a heads up.
No, we didn't know what was going to happen. You know, and we wrestled them only like 2 or 3 times before then, like at different house shows. But
Couple of tune-up matches, right.
Brett Stoll tells me that that's one of the best tag matches him and Jim had.
Really?
Was at WrestleMania 7.
Oh, that's quite a compliment.
Yeah, it is, especially coming from him. You know,
The Hodge had a lot of great
excellence
matches.
yeah, excellence in execution, and he said that. And then when I watch it back, all the spots we put in there, and with Jimmy involved and everything, and yeah, it was good. The only thing I regret is that the war broke out there. You know,
Right.
And then it took us from, because that was supposed to be at the LA Coliseum.
Right.
So that would have been like 90 or 100,000 people. But they went to the sports arena, which was still good. You still had Collie McLaughlin in the audience, and you had, you know, all these movie stars, Fonzie, and, you know, Regis Philbin was there. He was on the show, actually.
Yeah.
Willie Nelson sang America the Beautiful.
Oh, we're going to get to WrestleMania
Yeah.
7 sooner than later. I can't
Okay.
wait for that. One that I wanted to ask you about, you mentioned that you debuted right around the same time as The Undertaker. What were your initial impressions of a gimmick-wise, of a dead man come to life? And did you think it would have a 30-year main event shelf life the first time you saw it?
I thought it was special.
Did you?
Yeah, and that was totally made up from Vince. Vince made that character, and the way Mark could work. You know, I knew he was, you know, going nothing but up. You know what I mean? And you never know. Knock on wood. You know, any times. You know, he went through some injuries too. But
Lots of injuries.
you know, but you know, he's he went, just kept going, and you know, he let him heal on time. But back in the day, when we were young, we never, you know, like I said, if you didn't wrestle, you didn't get paid. So a lot of guys wrestled hurt, you know, and
Yeah.
just kept going.
You had to. or
So
you
now
won't get paid.
when you're older, you're going, wow, maybe I shouldn't have did that. But I don't regret anything, man. I had fun, and the fans enjoy it, and they still come up and tell me today. And you're talking 30 years ago. You know, we've been in the business now, I think 35 years. We got in 85, 86 when
Yeah.
we first broke in. So
35 years of the Nasties. Wow. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
What about, as you were entering, a man that was on his way out, the greatest intercontinental champion of all time, the Honky Tonk Man? Did you have any interactions with him, or were you just kind
No,
of crossing
knew
like
him,
ships in the
just
night?
knew him, yeah. We just kind of, you know, bypassed them, you know, like missed them, this and that, you know what I mean? And he always says nowadays with the internet and stuff and some of the stuff he says, I just, you know, That's honky.
He always has a lot to say.
Yeah, that's honky.
Is-
Dude, can we take a break here in a minute? I got to take a leak.
Well, you know what, wrestling fans? Beautiful. Right now, we'll take a brief timeout. We'll be back with the nasty boy himself, Brian Knobs. Stand by.
The World Wrestling Federation was live at the Worcester Memorial Auditorium in Worcester, Massachusetts, Thursday, January 27th, 1983. The opening contest, Salvatore Bellomo beat Charlie Fulton. WWF Tag Team Champion Chief Jay Strongbow with the win over Mr. Fuji via disqualification. Big John Studd defeated WWF Tag Team Champion Jules Strongbow. The Wild Samoans victorious over Rocky Johnson and S.D. Jones. And in the main event, WWF World Heavyweight Champion Bob Backlund retained the title over Buddy Rose with Swede Hanson as the guest referee. If you were in Worcester live, share your memories in the comment section below. Use the links in the description box to keep Wrestling Legends working in our eBay store and on our acclaimed Patreon streaming service so we can bring you more interactive superstar shoot interviews to relive the good old days of professional wrestling. Check it out. Boston Wrestling Sports in the MWF explodes into a new year with professional wrestling content galore and need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after our Monday Night Raw review, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. after NXT and AEW, join rotating legends on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's no-holds-barred sex, drugs, and rock and roll journey on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday night after SmackDown, don't miss John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, history videos, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view, watch-alongs, and more. For less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, get early ad-free access to our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times. Join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Expect the unexpected in 2021.
Welcome back, wrestling fans. More great wrestling talk as we wrap up the Nasty Boys initiation of sorts into the World Wrestling Federation. And other gentlemen, as you guys were coming in, two were headed out, Dusty and Dustin Rhodes. Dusty had a plum job waiting for him in WCW as the booker, but I mean, you talk about doing jobs on the way out. As Ted DiBiase needed knee surgery, Dusty Rhodes was doing clean jobs to Virgil on the way out. I was kind of taken aback by that. To have a legend like Dusty Rhodes putting Virgil over clean.
You know, Dusty was a businessman, so to him it was nothing. You can't take a star off, especially if it's a house show or whatever. I mean, you know, because he went down there and then you know, when he went to WCW, and we did the War Games with him and you know, Dustin and me and Sag against Terry Funk and Bunkhouse Punk and Arn and. Did you see that?
Haku was the other one?
Haku was outside being Colonel
Robert
Parker's
Fuller?
manager.
Oh, he was the Haku is the bodyguard.
Yeah,
That's right.
the bodyguard. But to be in that deal and sold out, and to see at the end when the Dream comes in at the end to clean everybody's clock, and to be actually out there in the match. What a you know, high that was for me and Sag, you know, because you could actually see the Dream, you know, and this was years past his prime when he was, you know, NWA, you know, doing his thing and all of that stuff. And they were crazy for him, man. It was just unbelievable, you know. And that was awesome. And another good one was me, Sag, and Rick Rude against Flair, Steamboat, and Sting. And that was another classic, you know. So
all available on WWE Network now.
Yeah.
All the classics from that era.
That's one good thing. Like I said, it's at least he didn't buy them. He just didn't he put them out, and people can look all that stuff up. So the people that liked you or hated you during the day, they want to show their kids that like the newer wrestlers. Well, this is what I used to watch. You know.
The legends never die, as they say, right?
Dude, when we did that hardcore against Max Payne and Cactus. We came back to the locker room. We thought it was such a great match, and Rick chewed us a new one in front of everybody you know, the whole locker room at the Rosemont Horizon, and said, "What the F are you doing? Hitting each other, you know." And then that Tuesday, we had, what was it called, center stage. And in front of all the boys, he apologized to us. He says, "You know what? I was wrong. Because when I landed and got off the plane, the first thing my son Reed said was, 'Hey, how is the Nasty Boys and Cactus Jack and Max Payne? How are they doing?' Because it looked like we killed each other, and Zag hit Cactus over the head at the end with the shovel, because the finish was supposed to be him going, doing the pile driver through the table, but the table broke. So then Zag pushed him off that ramp and jumped down and hit him over the head with the shovel while I'm still doing something with Max in the back there. But when Rick came home, that's all Reed wanted to know about was that match. And he wrestled, I forget who he wrestled that night. I don't know if it was
Steamboat.
Yeah, he wrestled Steamboat. So, so he said, "Hey," and I thought that took a lot, because Rick was the booker at the time, and he said, "Hey, I have to apologize to you guys for doing what I did at the Rosemont." He said, "Because that's all my son could talk about was your match,
Respect.
Yeah.
Very good. And that was a great series of matches. And then the next month after that, it was Cactus and Sullivan.
Yeah.
So those were really some great brawls.
Sully got himself in there.
Bye-bye, Max Payne. Yeah.
And I guess me and Cactus went through something, and Kevin grabbed Sag and said, do the finish to me. And no, the finish was supposed to be with Cactus, and Cactus is getting the win because Cactus was, in the program with us all in months. Kevin just came in, And then with Dave Schultz, I don't know if you're a hockey fan, but
not Dr. D.
Dave Hammer Schultz, Broad Street Bullies, So that was another awesome deal, And then commentating it, Jesse the Body, and I think Tony Schiavone. Schiavone, this is the craziest, wildest match, wilder than the Crusher and the Bruiser ever thought of having or something, and gave us really good compliments.
It was a great soundtrack to what you were trying to do.
Yeah.
Almost instead of a theme song, you had two great announcers describing to the fans at home what was going on. Yeah.
And I mean, even back in the day when, Gorilla and them, you can't take nothing away from the announcing teams, you know what I mean? Then when I was small, Vince was the guy doing the interviews, when his pop was still living.
Came full circle, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right, wrestling fans, that pretty much brings us to the conclusion of basically how the Nasty Boys came to be in the WWF. We're going to start to take a look at the World Wrestling Federation in 1991 when Brian Knobbs joins us again. For my new partner in crime over here, the Nasty One himself, I'm Dan Marty. Until we speak again, folks, you and yours, be well, stay healthy.
And nasty.
The Royal Rumble is the second biggest event of 2021, and it's going to be even bigger. During our Wrestling Insider pay-per-view watch-along is the former Raw main eventer himself. John Cena Sr. will be in studio live during the big event. We'll watch the Royal Rumble, take some questions, sign some autographs, and make this year's Royal Rumble as interactive as it can be without you being there in person. Get ready for John Cena Sr. live during the Royal Rumble, January 31st. Don't forget, again, folks, please share the link to this and all of our great videos across your social media platforms so we can get this great free wrestling talk with a variety of wrestling stars and legends out there. There's a share button right on Facebook so all of your friends can check it out. On YouTube, there's a share button that sends the link to multiple platforms. It doesn't cost you a single penny. I am humble enough to know that while our programs and our channel has grown leaps and bounds compared to this point last year, there are millions of wrestling fans that have no idea we exist, especially lapsed fans that gave up on a modern-day quote-unquote sports entertainment. Let's get them back in the mix with some great wrestling talk tonight. You guys can help the legends directly. Now, it is time for a wild one, folks. With Marty Jannetty, we talk Jane Fonda and Austrian Hitman. Cover your ears. Don't forget that new episodes with Marty are available every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern.
All right, wrestling fans, welcome to another installment of Wrestling Insider. It's Dan Marty along with the mystery man, Marty Jannetty. You look like You almost look like you're on the lam from the police or something, Marty.
I'm embarrassed.
Are you wanted from anyone? We don't got any more Chattahoochee
Yes, but-
going on, do we?
No, it's none of that. It's just them young ladies. Look, man, sometimes you can't get to all of them in one night.
The Bozarks are
I
looking
feel bad for
you.
roosters.
For
Let
who?
me get this off.
Who, Terry?
Roosters, no, not Terry. Roosters. I lost my tooth.
All right, well, you're
I
getting
got-
really excited then.
You know, because you can't service everybody in one night if you got a big coop.
Annie never had that problem.
She'd have, well, she was a regular for the hammered one.
She loved, had bragged about it. She was the only person that could come close to putting a smile on Greg Valentine's face with her ass-eating skills.
Ass eating.
Yeah.
What do you think they do? They look for hair around it?
I don't know
Oh,
the
put the
position.
kids, do this to the kids.
I don't know if she kind of rolled Greg in a ball with the legs up and went in that way, or if she turned the hammer over on his stomach and Greg just kind of relaxed and,
One
and
time-
she went to town.
It reminded me of something, I don't know why, because it wasn't even related. I was
Ass
close.
eating? Yeah.
No, not that.
No, not that.
But one of my partners, tag team partners.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me put my
When
tooth
he
in.
was eating? She bragged about that.
It was, yeah, she liked it.
No, she used to say, Sean and Marty,
No.
baby.
Yeah, Sean.
Sean enjoyed the ass eating.
Yeah, MJ in the house didn't get no ass eating. I don't like no little snail on my asshole. Sorry, kids.
Now, I wonder why she'd brag about eating both of your asses if it was only Sean's.
She never got that tongue. That would be close. She never came that close.
And she would brag that, to her credit,
Not
she
about
said,
me, she didn't.
I'm not like those other whores, baby.
You sound
when
more like her
Vince
than she
comes
does.
to town, he'd buy me a drink, baby.
Leave Ann alone.
Well, that's what she said.
She meant well.
Was she classy because she wouldn't spread her legs for the boys?
What
Just
about
her
Big Bird?
tongue. Well, apparently she has a little genetic.
Why would
Big
you tell
Bird
the world
genetic.
that? I'm already struggling. You know there's
You
over
probably have a
300,
7-foot-tall son.
300 with a nose that's a bit longer than she's tall. Oh, shit, she just heard that. I didn't mean that, sweetie. You got a nice nose. There's no way if you did a lot of cocaine, it'd get missed.
She came to one of the live events. I don't know how the conversation came to be, but she lifted her shirt up, showed the scar from her C-section, and Annie went, "That's 'cause of Marty, baby!"
Oh, that wasn't from the baby, because,
What
back
was
then,
it
I've
from then?
shriveled up as I got older.
What?
I've shriveled up since I've gotten older.
No, she had a scar
I'm
from
trying
a
to tell you
C-section.
why.
Oh, all right.
Because back then I had a pretty big one, and when I stuck it in, it busted out her stomach. I'm like, what the hell's that? Oh, that's me.
And Gina?
Big Bird, yeah. That's what the scar's from. It ain't from no baby.
It was from the
No, you ain't never gonna catch my kids walking out the
violations.
side door.
Well, Annie was adamant that it was 'cause of you, baby.
I bet if you put it in front of me, I'd call that a lie.
Well, like we said in one of our previous episodes, I think an Arena Rat interview would be tremendous. Because I tell you this, you know what? Let's be honest.
Why?
We're always honest, but it is kind of insulting to call them ring rats and whatnot. But
You finally catching it?
But they chose to do it. You know what I mean? They
That
love
don't make them bad people.
No,
They like
it doesn't
dick.
make them a bad. Like our good friend, the Hall of
I'm
Fame.
about to piss every girl off out there.
Like our good friend, the Hall of Famer,
If
Mark
I get a
Dustin
chance.
says, he's on the Boston Wrestling Board of
Who?
Directors.
Who?
The Hall of Famer, Mark Dustin. He said
Who?
Mark Dustin. He said a lot of the nicest people he knows are whores. So,
Is that male or female or both?
female. Maybe male. I'll have to ask Mark.
One
I
of
don't know.
the most perfect. I saw a picture of this one time, and
Yeah.
I thought it was so. I'm about to piss a lot of my girls off,
Big.
and in a way that's good. I don't need that
They'll
many.
keep them away from you.
Look, man, 30 or 40 is good enough. I don't need all that. But I saw a picture one time. Me and Andrew, remember Andrew Dice Clay?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we were together. We were sitting there.
Famous comedian for people that
Yeah.
don't know.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, very good back in the, what was it, 90s, 80s?
In the late 80s and early 90s, that guy was one of the most popular entertainers in the world.
And he was raw. He was like us. So
Yeah,
he
he
was
like
just-
us.
And we saw a picture. We was hanging out up in Long Island somewhere, Wantagh, which I always call Wantagu. But we're sitting up there, and somebody gave us a picture of. It was a girl on her knees in the kitchen. She had a frying pan in one head and a hand and a whisk broom in the other and a dick in her mouth. And we looked at him like, that's the most perfect picture.
Cooks, cleans, and the other thing.
Not trying to be vice president.
No, there was
Oh shit.
not
Can we
Camelot.
cut that part out? Because I'll have machine guns over it. If it ain't for real, I'll be
Was it,
hallucinating.
wait a minute, was it Kamala?
It's not Kamala, it's Kamala.
Kamala?
Yeah, like a common person.
I don't think anyone really says it correct.
No, she
But
don't.
wait
She
a minute.
fucked her name up a couple times.
You're trying to say that Kamala serviced
Kamala.
Andrew Dice Clay? With
No,
the-
I misspoke if I said
Oh,
that.
no. Well, I didn't
I don't even
understand.
see where you got that from.
So it was just a random woman that was had the pan.
There
and
was
the
a picture
broom.
we were shown. Woman,
It was a woman, but not.
fry an egg, whisk broom is you gonna scrub the floor with, dick in your mouth.
Not Kamala.
Perfect. Why you stick on that?
Well, you brought her up in the middle of the conversation. I thought maybe it was her.
I must have fucked up.
Oh. So she didn't fillet Andrew Dice Clay, as
No,
far
I
as you
didn't
know.
say that.
All right.
She might have.
She might have.
I don't know.
Do you know who actually opened for Andrew Dice Clay? Oscar.
Oscar, the rapper?
Men on a Mission.
Oh, for real? I love Oscar.
I don't know if you're familiar with his story of how he got hired by WWF.
You think you told me, but I forgot.
He was in Vegas
Right.
playing
Yeah.
slots, and they were getting ready for WrestleMania 9. And Vince, Mr. Perfect, Macho Man, he saw them going through the casino. And you know what? Give the guy credit for having balls. He went up to them.
Having what?
Balls.
What?
Balls. He went up to them and said, let me, you know, like this, he goes, I want to do a rap for you. He did, and he's incredible.
Right off the top of the dome, yeah.
Right off the top of the head, he did this 30-second rap about Macho Man.
He
Vince
was good
was
like
blown
that.
away. He said, call my office Monday morning as the elevator door was closing, Stamford, Connecticut. And then on Monday, he actually called, and he got the job.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you.
Isn't that interesting? But the thing, he was opening for Andrew Dice Clay when he
I
was
didn't
in
know
Vegas.
that. I didn't know that.
True
Me
story.
and Oscar are boys, you know, and we talk.
Oscar's a
every-
good guy.
I
I
love
don't
him.
know if you know this. Dr. David Reese is the president of
Dr.
this.
who?
Dr. David Reese.
What does he do?
He's the psychiatrist I've told you about.
Oh, for
the renowned
CTE, okay.
psychiatrist. He works with a CTE.
When you say renowned, what does that mean?
Very well known. He works with a lot of major league sports
so
franchises.
and noun, which is like a pronoun and noun.
Yeah.
But renowned.
Renowned. Renowned.
Okay. Can you spell it?
No. Oscar is our vice president, so he's still rapping away.
Oh, he is still. He's
He is the vice president.
I saw him at WrestleCon a couple years ago. His wife is a sweet lady.
Oh, Dreamy Mimi is
Yeah,
a nice,
sweetheart.
nice. What a wonderful human being she is. They're good people. But
Yeah.
Oscar, and you know what, maybe we'll get to this point when we talk about the 90s WWF runs you had.
What year are we
But
in now?
we're in 89 still.
Still?
But the way he was violated and humiliated as a human being, Oscar, just very, very sad. I don't think you were booked on the event where they paddled him when he was on his birthday in Orlando, Florida.
What are you talking about, bro?
About a dozen of the
Don't breathe no more air.
About a dozen
Leave
of-
that for the rest of
About a
us.
dozen of the boys on his birthday, they said, hey, oh no, we're having a meeting. Come on in. They took him. It's awful. They took him and threw him down on a table. They
Where'd you hear this?
From him. They pulled his pants down.
Okay.
And they said, how old are you this year? I don't know, 32. And they whipped his ass 32 times with a paddle, like he was a little baby. And then he actually went to what was Talent Relations at the time, J.J. Dillon, who said, well, I guess it's a good thing you didn't turn 60.
But you know what? I got to go Tony Ellis on that.
What do you mean?
I don't believe that story.
You don't believe it? You don't think he was paddled? Well, I also, and this was before.
Then you can't be a man.
But, well, if you have a dozen guys holding you down.
Don't matter. You get up and get as many as you can.
What's the matter?
You get up. It ain't nothing matter. You get up and get as many as you can.
If you have 12, got Kevin Nash
You gonna
fucking
get by.
holding you
Well, I
down?
know me. I'm gonna get 4 or 5 or 6 of them.
Well,
maybe 7. And one leans in late, you might get 8.
Brother, look at the condition you're in, and look at the shape Oscar's in. And I love Oscar, but look at the shape Oscar's in.
I just don't believe it.
All right, well.
It could be true, but I doubt it. Like what Tony said about Barb, like, I don't believe that.
We'll have to find evidence. I know some of the culprits that were on that line.
But not to ruin the story, so what happened though?
They paddled him. Another time, the Steiners, I don't know if you were there for it, the Steiners taped him to a urinal and urinated on Oscar.
No.
There was no urination.
I wasn't there, so I can't. I would like to say no, but I wasn't there, so I don't know. No, not in front of that. I wouldn't let that happen.
You were in the company.
Right, I wouldn't have let that. And the Steiners are my boys.
They took duct tape and they taped him to a urinal, and then they used him as the...
When did you put tape around your wrist? The left one. There, look at the left one. Do you know when we wear tape around our wrist, you got to yank it off, and it takes all the hair? Look at your left.
It would kill me, right?
The underside.
What do you mean?
The wrist. Unless it's lighting, do this. Don't do it Trumpish. Do it. No, the other way. See right there, all that missing hair. You wax.
That's Mother Nature, brother.
It just ended up like that?
Yeah. See, look.
If you was a girl, would you get yourself waxed? If you was a girl, would you do like the Kardashians and put it in there, go ding, and then you were like, wait a minute, give me my clip back though.
All right.
All right, sorry kids. Oh shit.
The World Wrestling Federation in 1989 was an interesting place. We mentioned, funny enough, J.J. Dillon moments ago. In 1989,
You know when I got fired, it was 13,000 time. J.J. was in the room.
Yeah.
And I might have told this, but I'm telling it again. Vince brought me in because Sean had told some bullshit. Now I'm more shortcut where I'm trying to sugarcoat shit. I'm going to go raw right now.
We're going raw.
Sean had bullshit about the Royal Rumble and said that Marty was so fucked up. I had to lead him by the goddamn.
This is 93.
91.
3.
Was it 3?
When you worked them in a
the
single?
Royal Rumble.
Yeah, when you worked them as a single?
Yeah, it was after, you're right.
That was 93 in Sacramento.
Yeah, encyclopedia. Oh. But I think it's the story, not the year that matters. But Sean had went to Vince and said, Marty, I had to lead him by the nose. And all it was they interjected Sherry and it changed up the rhythm of the match. And I think we talked about this earlier.
No.
Oh, then it was Eric last night because we talked about this. But Sean went to Vince because Vince was there. He called us aside. We come back from the match. He called us over aside. And, he always did. He like, oh, guys, you guys stole the show. And we were expecting something like that. It wasn't our best match. It wasn't the one we had done before.
I think, to be honest, I think people were expecting
a
classic
be honest
and
now?
they didn't get it.
Let me tell y'all something. Let me say this real quick. When you lead into something like, I'm going to be honest, that's saying you've been lying like a motherfucker.
No, you want to know, when I say it, I come from the point of view as, I don't want to hurt your feelings. Does that make any sense?
It makes a lot of sense.
Because I think, honestly, and I know me, as a wrestling fan in 1993, I was psyched to see that match.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a bad match.
No, it wasn't bad. It wasn't
classic?
what we could do.
Was it a classic? Was it the best Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty match that there could have been? I don't think it was as good as the house show match you had at the Boston Garden the month before.
Yeah.
So
and it wasn't, but because they interjected Sherry, you get a rhythm down. You get and they stood through Sherry and said, at this spot do this, at that spot do that, and it finished do this. And like, why the fuck did we go around for 3 months, or no, it wasn't 3 months, 3 weeks, getting this match down, so the day of the show you change it, and then get upset. It wasn't what I heard. I heard y'all had bombastic. Hey, Madhead, bombastic.
That's a word.
Yeah, it's a word. Can you spell it?
When Bob Hawley was putting the new Midnight Express in 1998, he was Bombastic Bob. He was. True story.
I believe it. I love Bob, man, but Bob was different.
So we'll get to 93, which was another interesting time period. But
Let's finish up.
oh, all
89.
right, go ahead. All right. So J.J. Dillon comes in from the NWA. He was the manager of the Four Horsemen, the NWA World Champion Ric Flair. All of a sudden, J.J. comes to the WWF not to be an on-screen personality, but to work as one of Vince McMahon's henchmen, so to speak, in the office. The modern-day version of what would be talent relations. What did you think of JJ coming in to work as office personnel? Did he interact with you guys a lot?
I'm sorry, what?
Was he on the road just to TV tapings?
Look, see the Ferris wheel right there?
Yeah.
Because I lived in Vegas for a minute.
It wasn't there then.
Or when I lived there, it was.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Oh, you must have lived there recently.
Recent. Yeah, I just moved back like about a year ago. I actually moved there to be a part of a wrestling organization that never happened.
That never happened.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
But see that wheel?
Yeah.
People used to. I'm sorry y'all can't see this.
You lived there? I can put a picture up. You lived that close to the strip?
I was in Henderson, which is like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But you could see, if you're on a hill, you see this very sight.
I love that.
And that
city.
wheel right there was right by Fremont. Fremont was the place to go. Hey, for y'all to go to Vegas.
Fremont Street Experience?
Yes.
In
Yes.
Old Vegas?
Yes.
Isn't that fun?
How you know?
I've been a million times. I go to the Cauliflower Rally Club every
You
year.
act like you ain't got no money.
I don't. I find a way. Oh, no, other than Florida, I think Las Vegas is the only place I could live in other than here. I love Las Vegas.
But see, you're a partier because here's the way it is in Vegas. Living there, like if you're single, and you're
and
not.
I am.
And you're not.
Even though I'm getting up there.
As far as what?
Age.
Man, wait till you turn.
Isn't it funny?
You're 40.
Our combined
You're
age.
young as hell.
You and I have a combined
100.
age of 100. Can you believe that? Isn't that something?
There's my
And I
friend.
bet you this, a lot of people, if we went on the street and asked them, who do you think is older, him or him? I bet you at least half would say me.
Because you don't paint your damn hair.
You think I need to gimmick it?
And you had a tarantula leg hanging out earlier.
You think I need to gimmick it?
What's wrong with it?
Well, I'll tell you this.
It ain't you fooling nobody.
I-
It's available. Look, I ain't got a right arm, but here's one I can snatch on. But no, I want to be real. I just go without a right arm.
I hope Baby Marati isn't watching this. But
Who?
Baby Marati.
Who?
The little one.
Who?
The junior ambassador, the one that Mr. PlayStation 5.
I know what you're talking about. I
I've
can see how many times I can get you up to
been
repeat.
seeing someone a little bit. But I don't know. Linda doesn't need to know that. You know what I mean?
Who's that?
Linda is the one that wouldn't let him
You
come
said
in.
Linder.
Linda.
Yeah, there you go.
She wouldn't let him come in and take the picture that day when he was here for his birthday.
I thought we did up front.
No, you didn't get to meet him. Remember I had to go outside with his birthday gifts? Thank you, Matt Guitar Murphy.
Yeah, but we're down to 10
but
girls.
anyway.
Yeah, okay.
This individual kind of wants
Just
me
say
to...
the name. You made me say
No.
He makes me say every name that I don't...
Just
Look.
because here's the thing, with the kid involved,
Oh, okay, got you.
I don't even know if he's going to see it, but they like the beard. They want me to grow a full beard in, but I've never really had it, so I don't know.
Doesn't mean it's got to be white.
Yeah.
Grow a beard.
Just for men, baby. So you know what? Next show, I'm going to go the Kevin Nash route. I'm going to go from all gray. You got a kick out of that one. I'm going to nash myself up.
What do they call it? A Bigfoot. He's got a Slim Jim product out.
Kevin Nash?
No, Bigfoot. Remember the big ass?
Saskatchewan?
Yeah, but he's got a Slim Jim product or beef jerky. There's a beef jerky product, and they always show him like don't fuck with.
I don't know that one. I'm not a beef jerky guy, I guess.
I've seen you jerk your beef.
No, that'd be lame.
I was in the distance of it because I ain't supposed to see that.
I've never had beef jerky, as a matter of fact, much like a cup of coffee. I don't know what it tastes like. I've never had it.
That's why you fall asleep a lot.
Maybe that's it. But this individual says, it's so sexy if you grow in the full beard. And it's like,
Where do you got to stop shaving it? Because I see the shave marks right
yeah, so that's what I mean. They want me to give the whole thing. But you think I need to gimmick it up, give it the Kevin Nash.
Man, you look like Father Time.
I look more than my age is the problem.
Dude, you're only 40.
Yeah, and I move even worse. That's what I mean. You got a year or two on me, and you move, and your ankle needs to be reconstructed, and you still move around better than me.
No, I don't know about it. I will. I'm getting surgery soon. Time y'all see this, I'll be in a cast.
That's right, baby. Soon enough, he's going to be flying off the top rope again.
But they used to do a thing
All
over
right,
here
what do
on
we
the
got
Vegas thing, where you get that wheel. See that wheel?
Yeah.
And they thought it was funny, like when you're on the wheel, you spin around. When you get to the top, you throw your drink and let it rain down on
Oh,
the
the
people.
window opens on it?
On that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I've never been on that. I tell you this, that's kind of a fun area too. Have you been, it's kind of new, but was that area right around the Ferris wheel open when you were living there? That little plaza they developed? It's a really nice walkway.
Open. When were you there last?
Last year.
Oh, I ain't been there in 2 years, but when I was there, yeah.
Oh, it was a really cool little area they developed.
Yeah.
You kind of have to walk a little bit to get into it, but once you're in there, I think there's, what's it called? That that Western burger chain is there. In and Out, is that what it is?
Well, there's
Almost
a lot
like
of
Annie with the
In-N-Outs.
tongue?
There's a lot of
Oh,
In-N-Outs.
they're delicious. That's the first place I ever had one, was right near the Ferris wheel.
Oh, real? Yeah, man, it is cool. But here was the thing. Now, Henderson,
So
with
people
this
were
picture,
throwing drinks out the window.
yeah, Henderson from this picture would be back this way. He'd be behind us.
Okay, east kind of.
And here was the thing. That's why I loved living there. If you don't feel good today, don't open the front door. Because when you do feel good and you want to party, open the front door. Here's the party. Just come out the door and join us. That shit right there. And for a partier,
It's Disney World for adults.
yeah.
Everything's open late.
All right, I got to do a Flomax.
You got to take a break? All right, wrestling fans, we're going to take a brief timeout. When we come back, we'll actually talk about the subject of this show.
What was it?
More of the World Wrestling Federation in 1989. Stand by.
For another year.
The World Wrestling Federation was live at the Golden Dome in Monaca, Pennsylvania, Friday, January the 28th, 1994. In the opening contest, Sparky Plug beat Bastion Booger. Jeff Jarrett with the win over Jim Powers, who replaced the 1-2-3 Kid. Diesel defeated Bob Backlund. Rick Steiner victorious over Johnny Polo. And in the main event, WWF Intercontinental Champion Razor Ramon retained the title over Shawn Michaels. If you are in Monaca Live, share your memories in the comment section below. Use the links in the description box to keep wrestling legends working in our eBay store and on our acclaimed Patreon streaming service so we can bring you more interactive superstar shoot interviews to relive the good old days of professional wrestling. Check it out. Boston Wrestling Sports in the MWF explodes into a new year with professional wrestling content galore and need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after our Monday Night Raw review, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. after NXT and AEW, join rotating legends on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's no-holds-barred sex, drugs, and rock and roll journey on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday night after SmackDown, don't miss John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, history videos, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. For less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, get early ad-free access to our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times. Join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Expect the unexpected in 2021.
All right, wrestling fans, welcome back to Flomax Hit.
You cut off at 3.
Because 2-1 you say silently.
Yeah, but you didn't have enough time to do that.
I didn't have enough time?
Man's messing up our show.
Well, wrestling fans, I do a countdown before you guys see what we do. I go, and 5, 4, 3.
And then he goes, go.
Ladies and gentlemen, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
So 1 and 2 and 1.
So 2 and 1 I was taught are always silent.
You know where else is silent?
Well, I mean, no, I don't. What?
It smells bad though.
Huh?
What you just did.
What I just
Yeah,
did?
where's my mask?
I don't know.
They call it silent but deadly.
I haven't been silent since I came out of the womb.
You know, when I was born, I smacked the doctor, took a cab to the club, and been partying ever since.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was a true story.
Why wouldn't you? I mean, it's
I
true.
wouldn't be surprised if it was a true story.
It's almost.
Ah, you know what? Annie said she came close to her first ass when she came out of the womb, but that's just...
She probably came out there.
She came out of an ass, yeah. All right, wrestling fans, back to the topic at hand. What
What is the topic?
What did you think of J.J. Dillon coming in instead of a talent as kind of office personnel to be a liaison to the talent, so to speak?
You use that word liaison?
Liaison.
Liaison. How you spell it? I always, golden rule, don't say words you can't spell.
All right.
But
What did
what
you
I thought
think?
about it
Yeah.
was I like JJ.
He had a
But
good
JJ
run.
was an office boy. He was a kiss ass.
80,
oh shit,
he
he's
was,
hearing this.
He was there from, what, 89 to 96? He had a good run.
JJ took shortcuts.
No, what do you mean?
I ain't gonna tell you that.
What do you mean? You got to
Hey,
explain.
can I take this off?
Yeah.
When you turn your head that way, because you got moccasin breath.
I don't know what
Moccasin
moccasin
breath.
breath even is, but
You know what a moccasin is?
I know them. Yeah, they go on your feet.
Huh?
Don't they go on your feet?
Oh, you talking about the shoes? No, I mean the snake.
The snake?
Yeah.
I didn't even know a moccasin was a
Oh,
snake.
there's a water moccasin.
Oh, you know what? I've heard of that. You're right.
You've heard
I
of
didn't
it.
know. I didn't put. Who's that? Annie?
No, it's probably down. So where's my dude? Where's my
Isn't
phone?
it in the belt?
No.
I hear it. It can't be. It can't be too far away. Is it in your sock?
Oh yeah. Ah, fuck
Yeah,
me
you
off
should put
it.
them in his socks. Who do you got? Which boy?
Oh, it's Pat Rose.
Pat Rose.
One of the boys.
Oh,
Pat. What are you doing, man? Hey, man, you on national TV right now. Yeah, because we were doing, what we doing?
Wrestling Inside his party with Marty.
Yeah, we're doing a podcast show. Like the one we did with you there. Say hello. This is Dan Masters, but Dan's
Variety,
friend.
but close.
I know, but you don't let me cut up.
Oh, all right.
We were Dan Marty who messed it up, but say hello.
Hey, Pat, how you doing, brother? I hope you're well wherever you are.
He said, Dan. No, you don't remember Pat Rose?
Yeah. Well, I said hello.
Yeah, but you said Dan Masters. For y'all don't know, Pat Rose, one of the best wrestlers. Hey, where did we start, man? Georgia Championship? What was that back then?
Georgia Championship with Gordon Soley.
Yes.
I love that guy.
You know, we all, yeah, man. We was talking about him earlier, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool, man. Well, listen, I'll let you go. Call me tomorrow.
Okay, I'll call you tomorrow. Hey, we was talking about Donald Trump, man, because he called earlier. We did an episode a few ago, and people don't like him no more. I don't understand it.
Fuck, I love him. Hey, don't give up yet, brother. Don't give up yet. You're gonna win this shit.
You know, if he don't, shit.
Fuck all this
There's always
Democrat
2024.
I hear that, brother. All right, man, do your thing. Tell your boy I said hello.
Hey, I will. Love you, brother.
All right, love you too, man.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
You never know who to expect. We had Pat Rose tonight. We
Yeah,
had
sure.
Pat Tanaka back on SummerSlam
Donald-
Sunday. I don't
Donald
know.
Trump called like about 5 episodes ago. During right during.
Well, he knows you're down
did
in
you
Georgia.
say did you was right there?
You are down in Georgia. He probably needs your input on what's going on in the state. Now, what are you doing now?
I'm gonna start trouble. Keep talking.
all right.
Don't give him dead air.
J.J. Dillon. What did you think? You said he took shortcuts.
I love him
What,
to
what
death.
does that mean? How do
did
you
what?
take a shortcut?
The best way I can explain it is ask Sean. And what I mean by that, from what I heard,
Did Sean fillet J.J.?
so you ain't gonna get me in that trap.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what you mean by shortcuts.
You already know.
I know, honestly, I don't.
They don't know that you know, but I know that you know. So
But J.J. was involved in this?
anybody that's an agent,
All of them.
I'm thinking one that's not.
What's that now?
Name one that's not.
Gorilla?
Think of one that's
Really?
not.
Strongbow?
No, okay, you got one.
All right. Steel?
Oh, George?
Yeah.
Got two. Keep going.
Briscoe?
I've heard stories, I don't know. One of them. Which one died?
Jack died. Jerry was the agent.
Right. Why do you think he was the agent?
So that's the shortcut route, apparently. But in his actual job performance,
Which one?
outside of his other performance, JJ, what did you think of having
I
him?
like
as a-
JJ.
Yeah.
I really liked him. I think he liked me. Not like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think he liked
Well,
me.
maybe, you never know, but
Well, if that's okay, I don't mind.
you weren't Sean. You,
They happy?
there
Then let
goes
me
the
go.
Hulkster.
No, don't you touch it. You know, like that.
Yeah. Well, but was JJ good in his role in working with the talent?
I thought so.
Yeah. What would someone like J.J. Dillon do in talent relations? Would he talk contracts with you? If you ran into trouble, would he
It
be
was
the
sort
one
of
that
book.
issued
You know what?
fines?
Honestly, it was like he was the they call it bumper. When there was going to be some bad news, go to JJ.
So it was like what Jim Ross turned into later
I
on.
guess, yeah.
He was the forerunner to talent relations. Was he good in relating with the talent?
Some of them, but some of them didn't like him a lot because
Who are you calling now?
I was going to put one of my agents.
One of your agents. All right, They should be, bud.
Yeah,
I don't
put
know
it
if
right
this
here
is-
so it can be heard.
What's my call? Hello.
Hey, stop being a hoe.
Oh, dear.
Well, I can't help it. You're not here.
Look, man, we on a live. This ain't like. Is this live?
Well, we're live to tape, that's for sure.
We're live taping this, and we're up here in Boston, and they don't put up with no shit up here. You know, Mark, what's his name, Wahlberg?
Yes.
Is
He
he
has his
from up
own
here?
chain of hamburger
Yeah,
restaurants.
I know who he is. The singer, right?
Yeah.
There's an actor too.
He's,
How much hoeing's How much
he's like
hoeing?
J.J. Dillon. He multitasks.
How much hoeing's going on in Chicago right now?
How much what?
Hoeing?
Nothing.
Not you. Outside of you.
I don't know. There's nothing happening in Chicago. It's
Every,
dead.
it's like Boston is locked down. We can't even go to breakfast at 9 p.m.
I have to, I was invited to a party at a dungeon in Wisconsin tonight.
A dungeon?
Well, she's a freaky. What was you gonna wear?
There's a dungeon in Wisconsin in Milwaukee.
I've always told you something's wrong with you. And what was you gonna do in the dungeon once you got there?
Well, it depends who I'm playing with. Now, if you were in town, I'd go with you, and we could have some fun.
We can do that. We do that over the phone daily, nightly.
Well, more before than now, but it depends
Marty,
what
this
person I
is-
bring up there with.
this
I
is
mean,
insane,
my
Marty.
play partner comes, I beat his dick.
I'll get it. I'll get it.
He's
I'll
running
get it
late
off.
tonight. If another rough friend comes, we do some pet play. He blocked me on my leash. He set me. When my other friend comes, so it's like it's a
How many times you got? How many times? Let me ask you something real quick, because we got to go. We got to get back on point.
We do.
How many times you had up in you lately?
I've been late, let's say like maybe twice.
You've been laid twice. In how long a period? Huh?
In my friend's van.
In your friend's van lately? You're old enough. You don't
Twice,
need
I
to do
guess.
that no more. I'll get Dan to send you some money to get a room.
No.
No, but we'll go ahead and do that. We'll go finish the show. I'll call you
We'll
later.
call you later.
Yeah, I miss you. You better, hon.
I will. All right. That was Demeter.
That was what?
Demeter.
The meter?
Or Demeter. D-E-T.
Oh, Demeter. Is that her name or?
Yeah, it's like a Greek goddess or
Oh.
some shit.
Well, she enjoys her dungeons, and
She's different.
even in her her 2 times. She's been more active than old Dan Marty lately, but anyway. So, JJ, how did you like interacting with him?
I loved him, man.
Was he someone, would you like negotiate a contract with him, or would you discuss finances with JJ? Would
First
he
of
be
all,
that type of guy?
Macho Man taught me one thing about this business, and it's actually true in life. DTA. What is it?
Don't trust anybody.
Yep. And so you have
Unless
to.
it's me and you.
Sometimes I look at you sideways, and I know you cut your eyes at me.
What, you know what? I'm not even going to say what I told you earlier, but hopefully you took that as a
what did
compliment.
you tell me?
Well, remember that issue that we kind of ran into yesterday? I said if it was someone other than like you or Tony Atlas,
with the
I would
money.
have thought
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
being worked.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I mean that sincerely. You're a good human being.
Bob Holly once used the N-word.
Well, yeah, nice. And he doesn't say many nice things. You know Bob.
Sometimes I like to fuck with him.
You know Bob.
You saw that?
You know Bob. He doesn't say many nice things. But back to...
Yeah, but he'll say many mean things.
Yes, he will.
I
love Bob, though. He's a very honest human being.
He's like, well, he ain't got no smarts enough. And let me tell you what, the only time I got mad, and Bob, you listening to you can't deny this.
All right, let's hear this now.
I threw up a damn idea. We was riding with smoking guns. We're all baby faces. They would get personal appearances. We're all riding together, so me and Bob would go with them to like the malls and shit, and there'd be lines, and we'd go with them. And sit there and wait, you know. And if somebody recognized, we'd sign and shit. Because WWE, at the time, WWF, got a letter like, these guys, Marty and Bob, great. They wouldn't even sign. They didn't even make no money off this. They were just there, and they signed. They were better than the guys that we paid. And I got an idea of it. Once they showed that, I thought, maybe let's do this. Here's a storyline. We're at a mall or wherever. They're signing, and we jump them like, we clothesline up. They're sitting there signing all nice and prissy and all that shit. And we come out like, and knock the shit out of them, put the boots to them in front of the mall, and mall people, but they don't know. So you're going to get real reaction.
Yeah.
You know, and they loved it. I presented it to Bob and Guns. But I said, but the Vince, when you take an idea to Vince, he's not trying to shoot it down. He's looking for the problems that might come out. And you got to cover those. So if he can find the problem ahead of time.
You have to have a solution.
Yeah. And so once you go in front and throw an idea to Vince, and he goes, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if? The first time you go, it's over, gone. Because shit happens that you don't expect.
Right.
If you can prepare for the ones you know, what's going to happen to the ones you don't know when you get stuck on one you do know. And so told them, I've not got the finish to this yet. And everybody was crazy about it. Like, yeah. Bob, I love you, man, but God damn it. He went and fucked it up.
How did he fuck it up?
He went and told Vince at a TV taping, hey, you know, I wasn't there at the meeting.
He pitched it.
I told them, not yet. It's not ready. And he went in there, did it anyway.
He rushed it.
You know what, Bob? I'm going to go ahead and tell stories. Because I love you. If you want to come try to fight me, I will fight. Because Bob, you know, he's got a little attitude and a little toughness that.
He sure does.
Yeah.
But like I said, I have all the respect in the world for Bob.
I do too.
think
I
he's
love
a
the
good
brother.
man. All right.
But again, I will fight if that's what you want. Do your best. But he went to Vince. I got an idea. 20,000 girls. Matt Daddy's behind the camera. Matty Daddy.
All right. Back to
Matty Ice. But so he went and pitched the idea to Vince. Vince asked one question. He was stuck. He didn't have an answer. Damn it. And he told us that night when we were driving to the next town, hey, I went and pitched the idea to Vince, and he didn't really like it. And I was like, how did he not like it, and why did you pitch it to him? I told you not to do that goddamn shit.
You were the veteran of the crew.
And well, you know, it ain't
And
matter
your
about the veteran,
idea.
it's about the ideas, who makes sense.
Right.
And he said, well, I told him what you said, and then he asked me something, and I didn't know. And I was like, what the fuck did I tell you? Don't say nothing, because he'll ask questions, and the first time you can't answer, get out the door. So Bob's simple ass fucked that one up. I tried to help Bob another time too. I love him to death. Whether you believe it or not, Bob, I don't give a shit. But I do love you to death. But goddamn.
He's a friend to us.
When we split off, he was like, man, I want to do something. I said, right now you got a good chance, because it was Bob Spark Plug Holly. Because he really did race cars. And at the time, Jerry Nadeau was had a race car, NASCAR, for WCW. Right?
That's right, yeah, they had the racing.
Yeah,
car.
29 car. Here's another legit driver, Bob was. I mean, he was in the Winston, he was in the Bush League, I think they called it. It was one up, because you have to win so many things to move up. So I was like, that's a perk, because Brett come out and dogged it. Like, we're not like other places that have race car drivers. We're about wrestling. And I said, there's your opening right there, brother. Go out there and challenge Brett. Say, hey, look, I'm a racer. I race cars. You're talking shit about us. Why don't you have a match with me? You know what Bob's... I mean, is that custom made?
Yeah.
Bob told me, he looked at me, he goes, Brett's not the champion no more, though. You're a mid-card tag team, and you got a chance to wrestle with Brett, who was a champion, and you don't want to do that storyline. It's fitting. He's knocking race car drivers. You're a race car driver, and you don't want to mess with that because he's not the champ. He ain't the champ. Who you? You're on a mid-card tag team, bruh. Fucking, you're not even that good. I don't care if he gets mad at me or not. He wasn't that good. You know what he did? He hurt people. I'd be on the apron and watch him drop kick people, and their heads would whiplash. Bam, bam, bam. And I would say, Bob, what the fuck, brother? You're killing them. Well, they shouldn't be in wrestling then. No, you shouldn't be. You can't control yourself. It's easy to look good when you hurt people. You what?
He was too stiff?
In my opinion?
Yeah.
No, in the opinion of the guys that got whiplash. You know, you drop kick, their head don't need to go like that. And as I said, I love you, Bob, but fuck.
He was a little stiff.
Well, shit, a lot.
Speaking of stiff, we had J.J. Dillon in his role, taking shortcuts in 1989.
How did you get that out of stiff?
But I mean, are those types of relations what moved him up the ladder in the company, in your opinion?
Who?
J.J. Dillon?
I think J.J. was at the top of the ladder. We just all didn't know how he got there.
Were you surprised to see J.J. come in and put in that role, where he was a renowned manager in NWA?
Yeah, before Horsemen, too.
Yeah.
Big time.
You know, as a young kid, I had no idea that J.J. Dillon went to work behind the scenes at WWF.
Yeah, nobody did.
Yeah. Was there a reason why he did that you know of, or?
He was a kiss ass.
Did he just want to be off the road? Or was it, how often was he on the road?
I can only speak for one I know, because you're taking me into a place I don't know. I'll answer this. I love JJ, I still do. I think the world of him. But I also saw what he was. I mean, I was raised like that. I saw what people really were. But I still loved them, and I still could be with them. They're still, what are you doing?
No, it's just organizing.
You straighten the papers?
Yeah. So, what was it? You said you could only say what you could only say what
I
you saw.
know.
What did you see?
It was kiss ass.
That's how he maintained that position for 7 years.
Yeah, I don't know how long it was. I just
Yeah, he
know,
was there from '89 to '96.
Yeah, and I never put a calendar to it. Like, hey, he started today, click. He ended today, click. Let me count them days. I never did that.
Here's the thing you noticed, though.
What I did?
No, not you. But he left in 1996.
Who?
JJ. He was in the office. He had the position he held. He knew the status of everybody's contracts. What year did all the guys start going from WWF to WCW?
He wasn't gone by 98, and I'll tell you why.
No, he left in 96.
Oh, you didn't?
WWF.
Oh, WWF,
And then he
okay.
went back to
I thought you meant WCW.
He went to WCW in 96 with the knowledge of all the WWF contracts, not only when they expired, but he knew what the guys were making. He knew what WCW could entice them with to make an offer with. And then look, Hall left, Nash left, X-Pac left.
Because you couldn't power
DiBiase
play.
left.
You couldn't say, look, I'm making this right here. You got to top that. Because they found out, no, you ain't making that.
Right, right.
But,
So he was very smart in his political maneuvering.
Look, man, I got nothing. Okay, I've said this before. I'll say it one more time.
All right.
I got nothing against the people that suck dick. Myself wouldn't do it because my heart wouldn't be into it and I wouldn't be no good at it. So why bother doing it?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it good. And my heart's not into sucking the dick.
Well, that was always Annie's philosophy. Her heart was in it.
No, her tongue was.
She had a passion for what she did.
And some of the guys were glad.
They sure were. But, well, so J.J. Dillon had an interesting run. You got along well enough with him.
Let me tell you what happened.
All right, let's hear it.
J.J. in charge of WCW. I got in. Remember when I told you, we talked about this in an episode previously, which was, I didn't see them all. But I had got a shoulder torn, Justin Bradshaw.
From John Layfield, yeah. Or is Justin
gave me
Bradshaw,
a slam,
yeah.
and this arm, I hit the floor, and it was like this, and it ripped the damn rotator cuff. And I was like this for so long, and Vince wanted me to take time off, which I didn't want to. I was okay, keep going, but JJ, when I got to WCW, it had gotten better. And he got hurt again, working with Conan. I love Conan. Conan showed up at the arena that night. It was in Miami. Mm-hmm. He lived there at the time. I don't know where he's at now. I ain't seen him in so long. But Conan comes in. He saw me. We were boys. He was like 2 hours late. Now, I mean, the show had already started. And he goes, Marty, you know what I'm doing? I'm like, yeah, you mean you were working? He goes, oh, fucking thank God. He goes, I got to go back home and get my boots.
Was this a TV taping or a house show?
Yes, TV. It's on TV. I got the match.
Really?
Yeah. But he was, back then we all were, partaking in the powder, medicine, whatever. And man, he showed up in bad shape. He forgot his wrestling boots. He had to go back to his. You got to go get him.
And he lived in Miami?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or close enough right there in that area. But we was wrestling in Miami, a TV taping too. That's why I can show you the match. Oh, he was out of it. So I'm trying to get over. I'm trying to make me good, right? But I see a friend like bad shape, so I'll do whatever necessary to get the attention off him.
Now, were you gimmicked up or just him? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was good. I was doing good at that time.
Good for you.
Yeah. And I told him about the shoulder. I'm like, no. This gets back to J.J. Dillon. But I told him, like, brother, don't, whatever you do, this shoulder, leave it alone. Because it's a torn rotator. Hadn't healed all the way yet. Which, without surgery, a torn cartilage ain't going to heal.
It's not going to heal, right? Yeah.
And got in a match and we did a couple things, and he was so slow, so sloppy. Because he was, he was
high, yeah.
or coming down from or whatever. And he did like what we call that, with the clover leap, and you leap forward and you go over, you rip your shoulder out.
Oh, he did that for you?
Yes,
oh,
and he didn't go, he didn't do the flip, so it was halfway there. You could see it on TV, I'm like, damn. Shit. Fuck. I ain't got no more use for it. And after the show, he apologized. Did I fuck up? I'm like, nah, you're right. But I told JJ, look, I don't want to take no time off, but and I was going to have a match with Kurt Hennig, which would have been great.
That would have been really cool.
Oh my God, we had a good one. Didn't get to do it because ripped my shoulder out. And JJ called me, he goes, "We want you to go get surgery." I'm like, no. Because everybody, that was when Bischoff was in charge of Ted Turner's pocketbook.
Right.
Angel C of money, and give you this, give you that. And they had the injured reserve like all sports do. And you know the wrestlers taking advantage.
Oh, sure.
Torn fingernail, I need a few weeks off.
4 weeks off, yeah.
And but you get paid, you know, during it.
It wasn't like the 80s.
And Eric Bischoff or somebody had enough. Maybe Ted, Ted didn't know what the fuck was going on. I mean, what's her name? Jane Fonda was getting fucked by Eric. Shit. All right, cut. Let's cut.
Wait, by Eric Bischoff?
No, I got to go to the bathroom. Cut.
All right, wrestling fans, we're going to take a brief timeout. When we come back, we're
You
going to
can't let me tell that
party
story.
with Marty.
The Royal Rumble is the second biggest event of 2021, and it's going to be even bigger. During our Wrestling Insider pay-per-view watch-along is the former Raw main eventer himself. John Cena Sr. will be in studio live during the big event. We'll watch the Royal Rumble, take some questions, sign some autographs, and make this year's Royal Rumble as interactive as it can be without you being there in person. Get ready for John Cena Sr. live during the Royal Rumble, January 31st.
All right, wrestling fans, as we continue through 1989, J.J. Dillon apparently found unique ways to climb the corporate ladder at Titan Towers, which wasn't even built yet. Let me ask you this one as we wrap up the show,
I'm scared of this one. Oh, it's a wrap-up?
Yeah, that's what I'm told by...
No, I heard because I got something.
What do you got?
No, go ahead.
Oh, well, no, what do you got?
No, what you got?
I don't know. I heard something about Jane Fonda.
From what I understood, she's a... No, go ahead.
No, I want to hear it.
Piece of shit.
She what?
Piece of shit.
Jane Fonda?
Yes.
Was she involved with any wrestlers?
I don't know about that, but I know this. No, I'm not going to say that.
Oh, come on.
Just cameras everywhere. Look,
the statute of limitations is over. WCW closed in 2001.
That part, the statute, we ain't worried about lawsuits. We were worried about the boys come up when you sleep, go.
Missy Hyatt even told the story about what happened with her
Missy's
breasts.
got huge titties.
Well, they had the poster of her breasts in the office, remember? That's why she sued them.
Just her breasts?
I guess it was at a pay-per-view, her top fell off.
On purpose?
And they took a screenshot of it.
Accidentally, look, y'all, look, my fucking titties fell out. Good, I gotta rip my shirt.
And in WCW headquarters, there was a poster of her breasts about the size of the Las Vegas mural.
Oh, the strip right here. Y'all should see this, man. It's huge, and it's beautiful.
We'll have to get a shot of it. It reminds me of being there. It's
Should
nice.
be back here.
It's almost like we're on a hotel balcony or something, you know what I mean? And we're just talking and enjoying the Las Vegas ambiance.
Yeah,
But was Jane Fonda, as far as you, did you ever hear stories of Jane being involved with wrestlers?
Did I ever tell you about the time Bill Eadie, because you said you're upstanding?
Yes.
He had to bail me out of Austria, not Australia, Austria.
Why?
Because the promoter kind of cheated me and accidentally fell off the balcony at the hotel. And Bill, the thing I thought the most of was the Pit Bulls. It was a tag team back then.
The ECW team?
Yes.
Yeah. Gary Wolf and...
yes. I think they're both gone, brother.
They are? No, I think Gary Wolf is still alive.
Real?
The bald-headed one, I think, has passed away. I can't think of his name.
Oh, with them and oh shoot, gosh, they're Public Enemy. Remember them, Mike?
Very well.
Rocco.
I told you, Johnny Grunge, when I worked for Boston Bad Boy Tony Rumble's CWA, he said I look like Joey Styles every time he saw me.
You talk like him sometimes too.
Like who? Grunge?
Styles.
Joey Styles?
Oh my God! Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I get that excited, but. So what? So Bill Eadie bailed you? What do you mean? He bailed? Did you get arrested?
What had happened was, the promoters tried to rip me off, and I was in a bad place at the time, dark, and he was ripping me off, obviously, and was going to try to rip me off my money, and that's all we live for, was to please the people but pay us. And he was going to try to rip me off because I had a reputation of, being a bad boy, tore up hotel rooms.
Did you tear up a hotel room?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
No, if I tore it up, I wouldn't have pushed him. I didn't push him off the balcony. But what happened was he got up in my face, and I shoved him back like that, and he went back. And the heel, I can recreate it. The heel, when he got pushed, it caught, and he stumbled back in the little balcony, second balcony of the arena. It was at the arena, just this high. And this is going to fall under the category of like, God damn, how many people did you make disappear? He fell he fell.
Over the balcony?
Yeah. Down to the crowd was coming into the arena.
How high?
And here's a body plap.
How high?
Oh, I don't know, about 30 feet.
So that
40.
was that it for the man?
Well, I don't know. And I don't want to know, but I will say this.
So what happened with Bill?
Bill Eady?
Yeah. How did he save you?
Well, here was the thing. When that happened, within 20 minutes, 15 minutes, and what it was, he was trying to rip me off. He goes, you tore up the hotel room. He was trying to take $1,000 off my pay.
You didn't destroy the room, though?
Nope.
All right.
Nope. And it was
you
reputation. He was thinking he was getting away with something. Like,
Do you know
always
who did?
fuck up. And I didn't fuck up. And I could prove it.
How can you prove it?
With that, at that time, we'll go back over there, show me the fucked up shit. Because I didn't do that. And they ended up, when they called the hotel, like, what was the damage? Oh, he didn't pay for Coca-Cola, which was $3.
That was the damage?
Yeah.
Okay. So I can see you being hot.
Yeah. And I got a little pissed, and I shoved him. But I wasn't trying to shove him over.
It was accidentally, yeah.
Thing. And he fell in front of people, and then it was Austria. The police got me, took me to the station, and I got pictures, man. We partied together. We had a good time. Hold on, let me eat some
What
paper.
year was this, would you say?
95-ish. I'll go with 95.
Weren't you in WWF, though, or was it during one of your
No, it was in
hiatuses?
between. It was before the New Rockers,
When
which
you
was
were gone for a
96.
little bit,
Yeah,
I gotcha, yep. You came back in late 95.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in between
It's a
that.
good thing I remember your career as good as you.
Yeah, because I don't. But you
So-
got to remember, when you have 5,000 matches and 16,000 girls and 400,000 cities,
In 80
you
different
ain't
countries.
going to remember every one.
In 18 different countries, yeah.
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 But so with that, the Austrian, it's Austria, not, it's where Arnold Schwarzenegger is from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and
what-
Graz, was in the place where he's from.
So the police came to the hotel.
Yeah, and got me and took me in. And they were saying, they were all fans. I got pictures, man.
With
where,
the police?
Yes. I got pictures where they were such big fans. We were cutting up. I'd put them inside the jail cell and take pictures of them like oh no, holding the bar, shit, like all that, and cuffed up, and like I arrested them. But
It
they
was a
were
big
like,
deal for you to be at their police station.
yeah, for them, yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't for me, but you know, they told me, Marty, we gotta get you out of here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, yeah, I don't mind that.
No,
But
who said
we
this,
still
the
had a
police?
long tour to go.
The police said this?
Yes.
Okay.
We got to get you out of here because if he doesn't make it, you know,
So he was in the hospital?
Well, at that point,
Yeah. As far as you knew, he was in the hospital.
no, as far as I knew, he fell off the balcony.
That's all you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they said if he don't make it, you're going to
There
get
could be
charged
trouble.
with, yeah. And in different, and it's like this in different countries. They said that, you know, it's going to be months before you even see a lawyer.
Wow.
Yeah, so they were trying to help me get the fuck, and they did help me get the fuck out of there.
How was Bill Eady involved?
Okay, so back to the Bulldogs
Pit
and,
bulls.
and Pit Bulls, I'm sorry, and
Bill.
No, gosh damn, Public Enemy.
Oh, that's right, Public Enemy. Was
They
it, yeah.
took, because the police showed up in the front of the hotel. The train station was right across. They showed up, and those guys, they come up to my room. They're like, "You can't go out the front." I'm like, "Why?" Police are down there. They're looking for you. You're not gonna get away. You got to. They tied bed sheets together, a bunch of them, and threw them over the back balcony of the room,
What was
which
this,
was
the
only
hangover?
on the third floor. And so I had to get it and they eased me down and I'm easing down. And then I ran to the train station. I called my brother and told him what's up, like, what I do, what I do.
How did you call your brother?
Oh, from the phone, and again, no cell phones, from a payphone.
How did you do an international call from a payphone?
Yeah, because you can do that. It's
This
like,
must have cost a lot.
I'm sure at that point I didn't care about that, and I'm sure my brother didn't.
Yeah. You should maybe collect.
Well, yeah, whatever it was. You know, because you do the, back then, with the payphones on the wall, because this was 95-ish, or whatever it was. And yeah, you got to put the country code, and then you type it in, and you do collect, which costs a lot.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Internationally?
Man, yeah. And you got my brother, he was used to the shit. He goes, yeah, goddamn, yes. Because you got to say, do you accept the call?
Right, right.
And he's like, he knew something was wrong because he knew I was over, doing a foreign tour. And he's like, God damn, yes, because I can hear him talking. He can, but I told him what happened. He was telling me, scoot down in the corner, don't. He was pretty wise. He was in the Marines as a sniper and pretty up there.
This is Gino?
Yeah, my brother, yeah. And he was telling me I was doing all that, but Bill Eady, now back to Bill Eady, I'm hiding, I'm waiting for the train that I might, and they got police at every.
So you're trying to get on the train in Austria to get out of the country?
Get the fuck out, go back to the airport.
What country were you trying to go to?
I was trying to get out of Austria. I didn't care.
Anywhere but Austria.
But to the airport so I could just fly my ass home. And I'm sitting there, and they're walking by. I'm on the phone like this, pay phone.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there like that. And they walking by and shit, and I'm on the phone with my brother, like, they're walking by. He goes, just be quiet, don't say nothing. If they don't see you, just let them keep going. But they close off, like Grand Central Station, if you ever been there.
Yeah.
Being a Boston boy. They got all these, you go up here to this train, that train, this train. There was police at every fucking exit, and I'm like, I can't sneak by.
Really?
I can't sneak by. They're fucking blocking the exits. But Bill Eady came through. The hotel was right there, right next to the place. I seen Bill going through, and I'm looking at it like a hero. Oh, thank God there's Bill. He's walking by like, psst. He looks at me, and he was like this. In fact, I got to get out of here. He goes, no, you can't leave. He says, you got to come back, pay the damage, they were trying to charge me. He goes, because they won't let us go to the next town. They won't let the bus go without the boys. And you can ask Bill that. You know Bill real well.
Oh, yeah.
He'll tell you firsthand. Yeah, and he said, you have to turn yourself in. And so I didn't want to, but Bill was the wise one, on that tour.
Yep.
And
He's a very wise man.
Yeah.
He's a very trustworthy man.
Yes.
A good human being.
Yes.
Especially in this industry.
Yeah.
I think the world.
He don't even need the money. He loves the industry.
Yep.
He's
done well for himself, and he's a smart man.
Yep. Smart.
Smart, yeah.
And, so I went ahead. Boy, it was a lot of stuff that went on.
It's surprising. I never heard anything about this.
Ask Bill about that part, because he don't know.
So Bill, you said he was your savior, but he convinced you to go back and turn yourself in?
Because I was holding up the bus. They were going to the next place. But they would not let them go until they got me.
What happened? So what happened at that point?
I went back to the hotel, which is right basically across the street.
From the train station?
Yep.
Okay.
And, so they cuffed me and they took me downtown. That's where I was telling you about the pictures, how the police.
Right.
And they were big friends. I say friends, but fans.
Fans of the business.
Yes, and they were like, "We gotta get you out of here. We gotta get you out of here," because they speak German, I think, or they got a different language there. And so they took me to the train station that went to a plane station
to the
that you take off of, and they went with me because I couldn't speak the language. They of course speak the language. They got me out of there. The bottom line is they got me the hell out of there.
So Bill Eady convinced you to go to the police station to turn yourself in.
He said we can't leave until you go up there.
And these police officers helped escort you to the airport?
Yes, they took me to the police station.
And
I had to go through the
right.
police
So you went to the
station.
police station first.
Yep.
And then after turning yourself in, these officers escorted you to the airport?
One did, yeah, because all of them were all happy. I get pictures of them handcuffed. You know, I did it, Billy Club, and all that shit.
Yeah.
And behind the cage or jail thing. But when it came down to it, they sent one guy to go with me. It was one dude, because he could speak the language, and they were getting me out of there, get him out, because they said it'd be a while.
So they were trying to help you.
Yeah, of course, yep.
So they escorted you to the airport and you flew home to the United States from Austria?
Yep.
And nothing else happened? Or what else happened?
A couple months later, how much we got? 20?
20.
A couple months later, I'm sitting in my living room, and the promoter girl was a lady. She called me and she goes, Marty, she goes, Steve Kern can confirm this story.
He was there too?
No, he was part of her. She tried to rip him off. She was, man, this is a lot of...
Steve Kern was on the tour. How did she try to rip Steve Kern off?
Because he was with her on another tour.
Oh, okay.
And they became friends, and she tried to get all his jewelry from his wife and shit, saying how she could... I don't remember the exact story, and I don't want to get it wrong. But she, she was trying to rip him off. But she liked me, and I liked her. She talked to Gino. My brother's a no-nonsense kind of person. He catches somebody bullshitting. That was his job in the Marines. So anyway.
So you came home, you got home from Austria, and you get a phone call from the promoter's wife or girlfriend? What was she?
No, let me tell you.
Okay.
All right, so there's a window behind me. I'm in my TV room. And I'm sitting there by myself, relaxing, having a good time by myself. I ain't got to answer nobody's damn question. I'm sitting there. And I hear my doggies bark. They didn't bark unless something was up. And I look behind me and they're barking at the fence. I had like a 6-foot privacy fence thing. And they're barking in one area. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with them? Fuck, I'm back to the TV. Then I seen a red dot going across, and right where you could see a shadow of my head, the figure, the head, and you seen a red dot go back and it blank out at the shadow part, but back and forth. And it took me a second, and I was like, "Fuck!" Oh, and then let me back it up. She called me, the promoter. The lady, I wish I could remember her name, but actually I'm glad I can't because she might still be in power. She called me, she said, Marty, be careful. That person that fell off the balcony, high power, meaning high up in wherever. And they're coming to look for you, they're coming to get you.
In the United States?
Yes.
How would they do that? I mean, you're talking about in a legal fashion. Is that how you took it?
They don't do it legally, bruh.
So they were sending people to...
Why you acting naive, man?
I'm just trying to get the story
You're Italian
straight.
boy. You know how this shit works.
Well, you're 100%. Well, you know what? I'm going to zip my lip at
you
this
know
point.
how this shit works.
So they had Austrian people here in the United States that were coming to... So what do you said you saw a red light pointed at you?
Yeah,
Was it
you
a
know,
gun?
like the guns that got the laser, whatever the
Yeah.
fuck it is. I'm sitting there. She'd called me and said, Marty, be careful, they're coming. Because it was a high up guy. And I didn't think nothing of it. I was sitting there. At that time, I didn't have Swaggy or Waggy or, but I had G-Bone, my doggy. And we were sitting there watching TV. Seen that red dot go across the wall, and it did like this. Zzz, zzz, zzz. It started zooming in right where the shadow of my head.
Yeah.
It was right there. I'm like, God damn, and I laid down on the couch real quick. And nothing happened, but the dogs next door, everybody went crazy, all the dogs, and they disappeared. So nothing happened as far as that. But they sent somebody to get me.
How?
I don't know how. I don't know what you...
Was that the only instance, or were there others?
Yeah, it was over after that, nothing.
So at one point, potentially, someone was around your home with a gun, ready to take you out,
Yep,
but
the
your
back-
dogs maybe scared them away, or?
I don't know. The dogs didn't start barking until after, actually. When I seen the dot going back and forth, and then slowing down right here, like my head's right here, the dot just doing this, and then
So there were no fires?
zooming in. I'm like, God damn, it took me a...
So there were no fires shot?
No.
Huh.
What's
You must have been scared
Where'd
out
that
of your
come
mind. That one came from up there. That's all right. We can fix it after the episode. Who's that? Alexa Bliss and Alexa Bliss and Dickie Cross, folks. You can get this on eBay. It's a tremendous autograph collectible. It was set to be on sale at the SummerSlam store. That didn't happen as Matt didn't get the shot of it, but that's all right.
I'm gonna go run back.
All right. Well, right now we're gonna take a brief timeout. We'll be back to wrap up the show.
Don't tell them what happened afterwards.
All right, fans, as we welcome you back, I'm still trying to get to the bottom of this. As far as you know, was Jane Fonda interacting with any of the wrestlers?
As far as I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to see it to know it.
Did you hear any secondhand stories
of course.
Jane?
Yeah.
Who did you hear was with Jane?
I ain't gonna repeat hearsay.
Are you sure?
Yeah, why you think Trump didn't get reelected? Oh wait, what year is this?
2021.
No, this is showing.
That we're 2021.
Month?
Yep, Royal Rumble weekend.
That's 20th?
20, I think it's the weekend, where are we? The 28th, January 28th, I believe is today's date.
AEA dated you for a while.
What's that?
Hey, I want y'all.
AEA. But no, I'm trying to get to the bottom of this. Jane, we're going to get a million questions. Was Jane Fonda intimate with any of the WCW superstars?
When we get to the bottom of it, then ask the catfish. I'm not going to say nothing else.
But you do have the knowledge.
What was there?
Well,
I don't know if that's knowledge, but I was there.
Oh, this is an interesting one, folks. Jane Fonda. She really was a WCW fan. No wonder why Ted kept it around for so long.
Well, I was going to say, she was with him. Were they dating or married?
They were married.
For how many years?
Long enough.
And how much money did he have?
A lot of money.
Who do you think is more famous, her or him?
Her.
Think so?
I think if you ask the average person on the street, they'd
We're
know.
asking y'all, I didn't mean the average person. Who is more famous, Jane Fonda or Ted Turner? Does she have Fonda TV or whatever it's called? Turner,
she doesn't have networks named
TBS,
after her, no. TNT, TBS, yeah. But he's really out of
you
the picture.
You got to know,
as
like if you're
goes.
watching the show, what channel is this? TBS. You got to know that that's Turner.
Turner
With her, all
Broadcasting
you're going to
System.
get is like, which dick did she suck this week?
So she was filleting.
Did I say that?
She was filleting the WCW superstars.
But I don't like her, and I'm going to tell you why.
Why?
Because fuck the bitch.
She what?
Fuck the bitch.
Why don't you like her?
Because she fucking with the guys in Vietnam. She went over there and she spit and called them pieces of shit. That's kept her fucking ass alive. Fuck you, Jane. Here's my dick. Let your mother choke on it.
Well, who did she choke on?
I ain't gonna tell you that either.
All right. Well, one more before we go, Marty. February the 15th, 1989.
Hold on, man. I'm pissed off right now.
All right.
Pull her hair out and put it on her fucking bald pussy.
And it's an old one. It might
have wrinkles.
It's a wrinkly one.
How you know?
I don't know. I wasn't in WCW.
I am really worked up right now.
Well, what
Tony's gonna get mad at me again. Come on, bruh. God damn.
Tony?
Yeah, he's always mad at me.
Who's Tony?
Atlas.
Oh, I don't know if he's a Jane Fonda fan or not.
Doesn't matter.
Did Jane Fonda fillet Tony? Oh no, Tony wouldn't do that. He was married at the time when he was there. And one thing I'll say about Tony, he'll be walked on, but he will not cheat on his wife. He'll only live
How long they been together?
30 years since she
Holy
found him living in a park, homeless.
That's a good ass 30 years. Nobody does that no more.
Isn't it sad?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's very sad.
And you know what? As much as he loves these foot walkers and whatnot, his wife had a stroke in June of 2019. She's been hospitalized ever since. He still has the women walk on him like he normally would. But other than that, he continues to be a faithful human being.
That's a good brother.
And I'll tell you this,
What you gonna
she
tell
is
me?
much older than him. Much older than him. You know what I mean? So I give him credit. But so it certainly wasn't Jane Fonda with Tony Atlas, but yeah. Is there anyone you could think
I
of?
feel bad right now for Tony. That's got a hard thing to go through.
Well, and not only that, you know what sucks? Lost her. She worked as a seamstress, so they lost her income. From that, they take her entire Social Security check outside of $40 to keep her in the hospital. Then coronavirus hits. Tony loses all of his wrestling bookings. He loses all of his personal appearances. You know what Tony Atlas has right now? This studio and his drawings to try and survive. And so, you know, he's old enough to collect Social Security, but I mean, that's tough to try and run a house when you were used to an income, her Social Security, her income, his Social Security, his job as a personal trainer that he's lost, plus all of his income from his wrestling bookings. He's fucked, the poor guy. And that's why, as much as he drives me
No,
crazy,
you're not, Tony.
he drives me crazy sometimes
No, we got
with
it,
his
bro.
calls and him showing up out of the blue hours early, but my heart bleeds for the man. I care about him so much, but he drives me nuts. You must have people like that in this business.
The more you love somebody, the more they can damage you.
He doesn't damage me. He's a lot to handle sometimes.
Did you hurt me, though?
Yeah. I do. Let me tell you, and I hate to, he will go out of his way to say how much I've helped him on these shows. And I don't do it for fame and glory. I do it because I want him to have a normal, regular life that he deserves.
That ain't true, man. You want the fame.
No, I don't.
And the glory.
No, I don't.
They do.
Let me tell you, no, I don't. You want to know why?
Why?
Because when someone finds out you're that good of a soul to one, others come out of the woodwork.
See, you're
looking
still
for it.
doing it for a reason. It's supposed to be because that's how I am, not because I'm expecting something.
I don't expect anything back. What I'm saying is, once, especially in an industry like this, once someone finds out you're a good soul and you'll give, they come out of the woodwork. You know what I mean? I don't need
If you'll
more
give,
of those.
of course they do.
I had the Sheik.
But you
I
can't expect
babysat the
returns
sheep.
on your deposit.
That one I did. Tony is a different story. But I care about the man. I want him to do well up in Maine, and he knows that. I've gone above. You know what? That's not
He's
a
such a
story for this
good-hearted
show.
dude, man.
Who?
Tony.
He is.
Such a good.
He doesn't deserve what he's had to deal with.
Yeah,
You know, he was almost like Goldberg. We said too much too soon. That was the title of his book, as a matter of fact. He was a young phenom.
You know, Tony was like Mr. USA 7th place or something. He was way up there.
Yeah, it's
Way
not
up
it
there.
wasn't a gimmick.
Way
It was a
up
shoot.
there. Yes. It was a bad brother, man.
I bet Jane would have gone after him when he was younger, but she
Who?
wasn't around the wrestlers. Jane Fonda.
That's Tony. You talking about damn Ted Turner.
No, but I mean, maybe if she was
you
around.
You know what I heard about? And the kids.
Cover the kids' ears now. This is adult talk.
This is what I heard.
Yeah.
One of my friends that actually did get with her, he said down there, looked like somebody took a hatchet to a tomato.
Really?
I told you more than I should have.
So a friend of yours enjoyed Jane.
I don't know if he enjoyed it after that. You
Well,
look down there and see that goddamn shit. Like,
he had
man, I don't need no salad.
He had anticipation of enjoying Jane.
It was embarrassing.
Now,
It was like
who was it?
I
Who was
pushed
it?
all them young, good-looking girls away, and so I could be with this one. And
But
I gotta get that.
you gotta say that is probably as gross as it was. That's a name to have under the belt, Jane Fonda, even at an advanced age.
I take it as a negative. You put your dick in that,
During the time of WCW,
go to a mud puddle and just stick it.
she was probably
Stick it.
She was probably in her late 50s, early 60s. She wasn't. It's not like the 2021 Jane Fonda.
How do you know?
Well, I would think she's aged a little bit in 20-something years. If
She
it
got
looked-
she got all that money,
if it
plastic
look-
surgery,
Well,
plastic,
If it looked like a hatchet hit a tomato back in the 90s.
You know what they do in Hollywood now?
What do they do?
The people come in there, and the only reason I know this is not from one of the Kardashians, but it might have been. They go in to get their...
Vajayjays.
Yeah, you say it.
The Vajayjays worked on.
Fixed. Because it hangs like, like chandeliers.
Slopes a little bit.
It's hanging out. No, sometimes you got them loose lips. Boom. You take a picture, like a naked picture, and you're like, what's that? What's that rope hanging down? That's not rope.
little sagging.
Yeah.
Now,
but they can clip it. They do surgery now. Plastic surgery on your face. Plastic surgery on your
in your place. So who was the gardener who took the hatchet to the tomato?
Why you keep trying me?
I'm confused. I don't know who it is.
You're not going to. I would have said it at the beginning.
All right, one more before we go. February 15th, 1989, after a WWF television taping, the boys gather to enjoy themselves in Birmingham for a night of fun. Two men got into an altercation with a woman. Haku got involved and bit off the man's nose, which led to legal problems galore.
I heard about that.
You weren't at that one.
I wasn't at that one.
How dangerous of a man was Haku to bite off someone's nose?
If he bit it, he could have chopped it off. But I did hear that story. But I was there for a story in East St. Louis, which is right across the bridge from St. Louis. Yes. And we was with the seamstresses. We call them seamstresses.
Oh, I know the seamstresses, yeah. We've heard a lot of stories about them over the years.
For real?
Oh,
Still?
yeah. They weren't just partying with Marty.
No, they did once or twice, and they regretted it because the next day they walked very wide.
What are you looking for, Marty?
Something put in my teeth. I need a paper tooth.
Well, as we wrap up this show.
Now, wait, let me get this.
You want a piece of paper? Let me give you, you know what, hold on. Take one of these ones. We already used this.
It's already what?
With Haku, what happened in St. Louis with Haku?
We walked into play East St. Louis.
Yeah.
Walked in. It was the Flats. It was a big ass club, city, and we just want to get a 12-pack and go home. Next
you were
town.
going to get a 12-pack at a bar?
Yep, and it was a biker bar, and we walked in.
They would sell that though at a bar, a 12-pack?
Yep.
Huh.
Yep. Man,
Okay.
everything ain't like Georgia or where we at right now.
Massachusetts.
Yeah, well, she pretty lenient.
No, we tried.
That girl from the front desk.
You like her?
I think I'm going to go ahead and go to Uno's. Oh, that was a plug.
Kayfabe, baby.
But she said come over. Well, you
now,
should go there.
Would you tell her what happened with Jane Fonda?
Well, what had happened was me and Haku went in this place, and Samoans don't like to be called the N-word.
I've heard that.
No, nobody would. Nobody.
No,
does.
no, obviously no one wants to hear it, but even Samoans.
Yeah, because they're darker skin.
Yeah, it's an insult to them too.
And we were in there, and it was like a bunch of bikers, and we were just getting beer to go. And they were calling, we had the blonde hair, I hate to say this, Julie was her name.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
Yeah. Stop messing with her.
I'm not messing with her. I know who you're talking about.
All right. But they kept saying that N-word, that N-word, that N-word. And I'm sitting there going, oh, fuck. Because I know Haku.
They had no idea what they were getting themselves into.
But here's what I was thinking. I was like, he'll get a few of them. And I'll get a couple more, but it's a lot of them. Right? And one come up and put his hand on his shoulder and goes, did you hear what I said, nigger?
Oh, God.
Haku did like this. And all them boys down the aisle over there, it was like watching a cartoon. Paper, you know how the paper slides down the wall? And he was just kicking. He didn't use his hands that I saw. He was that quick. And I was like, because I was scared to death. We had to fight our way out.
Was it just you and him?
Yep. And the girl, and Julie.
And Julie, yeah.
Yep. And All of them. Well, later on for Haku, he picked up the 12. It was a 12-pack. He picked up. He goes, "Let's go, Marty." Yeah.
But that's an interesting story in and of itself. Did that lead to the legal problems, like when he bit off the man's nose? Or was
I
that...
heard about that, but I wasn't there, so you know,
Yeah.
if I say anything, I'm talking out my ass.
But I mean, when the night when you had the problem in East St. Louis, were there any problems after the fact with that, or was that just over with?
It was pretty much over.
He took care of business,
Yep,
and he
yep.
got his 12-pack, and he was done.
Bikers are badass white boys. The white boys are pussy asses. That's why nobody stands up when the goddamn... Boy, I'm about to go off right now.
Uh-oh.
When the Democrats can fucking, they fucking riot all over the goddamn place, and it's okay, but you got that fucking Lightfoot ninja-ass motherfucker in Chicago, and the bitch-ass motherfuckers in Seattle and Oregon, like, it's okay, it's peaceful. You're robbing goddamn places, but the goddamn motherfuckers get together from the Republican side, and you spreaders, super spreaders, man, eat my dick. Fuck. But anyway.
I wonder what Jane Fonda thinks about it.
I think Jane would like you, man.
You do? I don't think I'd take the hatchet to the tomato, though.
I'm so...
It's been a while, but it hasn't been that long.
What you gonna do with it?
Huh?
What you gonna do with it?
Nothing.
You gonna go home
With
and put your
Jane,
hand...
I really don't have much interest in Jane.
Okay, but you gonna go home and put your hand around it tonight?
Before Jane, yes.
Well, when you call me at 4 in the morning, I know what the hell you call it.
I won't be. But that's a different story for a different time. But was Haku, obviously with the story you told, as dangerous as everyone used to say? Was he one of the
More
tough?
so.
Can you think of anyone in this industry, if they were provoked, that could be more dangerous than Haku? Do you think Haku could have taken Andre? Do you think Haku could have taken Holly? Wow.
I love Bobby. I love Bobby.
I'm just trying to think of some of the
Nobody. I'll go
There's
ahead and answer.
nobody.
You keep picking answers or
Well, how about someone like a Shamrock?
Shit.
Really?
I like Ken.
Yeah.
Nah. Look, this man was
He's
the
of a
Shaw.
different category.
He took care of the Shaw, I guess, the king of Japan. His job was to make sure nobody gets close, and he could do it without you ever knowing. He'd do it like this, and snap your neck. Nobody saw nothing. Why'd he fall to the ground?
So even his fellow Samoans wouldn't have a chance.
One time, Sean and I was in, we had a match with some arrogant motherfucker. He's a dickhead, man. I try to like everybody, but you know, sometimes I got to go ahead and say, fuck you, dick face. And this guy was a dick face.
Now, who is this?
I don't know his name. He was an extra.
Oh, this was an enhancement talent.
Yes.
Okay.
And he was like, because I was joking around with him because he was wrapping his fingers with a little tape on each finger. I'm like, why you doing that, brother? He goes, it shows I'm not an idiot. It shows I know what I'm doing. It shows that when you beat somebody, you mean something. And he goes, I'm going to tell you like I told a Barbarian. If you give me a stiff one, I'm going to give you a receipt. I wanted to tear that motherfucker's head off right there, right then. But so he went and we had our little match. We did good. Sean, no, I hate to say it, but nobody liked Sean back then. But we did all right. But he had a match the next hour, he had a match with the Barbarians, and that's what he was saying about, I told Barbarian, if you stiff me, you will get a receipt. You told Barb that? Why don't you just say, please cut my throat? And after the match, the same.
Whoa.
And I got nothing against, I don't even know what it is, but you know what? I'm old school, gay people. That
It was
doesn't
the
mean
terminology you grew up with.
Right. It doesn't mean we don't love y'all. It just means just understand that you ain't me. And I ain't you. Because
So what
you
happened-
can say, call me straight, that don't offend me. I call you all of a sudden I'm bad.
So what happened in
Stop
this
all that
match with
goddamn
Barbarian? What
shit.
happened to the guy?
Oh, where were we at? Which story?
You had this cocky enhancement talent that told you if you were stiff with him.
Okay, and here's what happened.
What happened with Bob
They
Barack?
went and did their match, and they come back in the dressing room after the match. And the bad boy, it was like, I got the style that lets me know that I ain't a punk. He comes in there, he grabs a chair, he throws a couple of them
The
against the wall.
enhancement guy?
Yes.
Okay.
And he's going crazy. And we're all like, God damn. And I spoke up because I'd worked with him earlier.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's up, bro? He goes, fuck goddamn Barbarian. That motherfucker stiffed me. I'm gonna beat his ass. Fuck you, fuck. And the door opened and Barb and Warlord came through. And the guy goes, oh, hey, Barb. Hey. You motherfucker.
Do you remember the
Talk
guy?
all that goddamn shit when that Barb walks in. Hey, brother. Hey, thank you.
Do you remember his name?
But let me finish.
Oh, okay.
No, of course not. But at the end of the show, we showered up.
Yep.
Yeah, we're last semi-main and main event. So, dressing room, and I remember going to Barb, and I was like, Barb, what's it like to be the baddest ass in the industry? And he goes, ho, 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 Marty, I'm okay. Haku, now he bad. And I thought, oh my God, if a bad boy like that said this bad boy is the one.
He's bad.
Yep.
All right, wrestling fans, before we go, one final question,
How many final questions you had?
Well, what happened with Jane
Which one?
Fonda?
She ended up blowing something she didn't realize it belonged to somebody else. Do you want me to go more?
Yes.
Because you would never say no
The
to her.
statutes of limitation are long
No,
gone.
but you're like,
Jane is no longer-
ratings, I just want ratings. I don't care if it gets you in trouble.
Jane is no longer married to Ted, so that's a good
Hey,
thing.
that's been a while, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. It's in the past.
You remember the first time I ever had sex with Christy Brinkley?
No, I didn't know you were with Christy.
With Billy Joe. They were married, I
You were the
think.
piano man?
Huh?
You were the piano man?
Sing us a song, you're the piano man.
Sing us a song tonight. This is great. You were with Christy Brinkley.
I didn't say that.
Oh,
I might have been.
before, during, or after Billy Joel? All right. Did you ever
But
play?
I would go with that if I had to ask after.
Nothing ever happened on the piano.
Nothing happened on the piano, man.
But-
Sing me a song
But
tonight.
what about Jane? What about Jane? Now, I imagine she would only
Jane-
go for one of the elite.
You
in
know
that
what?
company.
Jane's a hooker.
Jane's a hooker.
But she's a high-class hooker. She's a $1 billion club.
So I'm thinking as far as
Hey, Jane,
if she went after someone in WCW.
I love you. I loved your movies. I kind of did. Then I found out who you were behind the scenes. Man, go eat Nancy Grace's
You
pussy.
know what happened. You know what she was like in the 70s. You're a smart enough guy.
I was young.
Yeah. Well, you weren't familiar with that then?
I was young.
Well, it's a disgrace. But you're talking about
Yeah,
some.
she spit on the damn Marines. They
Right.
went over there and fought for
She's
her.
and then she was.
Here, bitch, swallow that.
And then she
I
was.
missed it. You saw that.
She was a acted like a lower class woman with what she did with
She's a garbage can
WCW.
Garbage can cunt.
Who was it that used her as the garbage can?
Oh, what's the name? Drosy. Duke Drosy.
Well, he wasn't in WCW, so it wasn't him.
Well, you tricked me up with that question.
It had it had to have been a high class guy in the company. Now I know Ted Turner was a big fan of Nature
Who
Boy.
are you talking to?
Nature Boy Ric Flair.
There ain't nothing else but in the lights.
Ted Turner.
Where's
loved,
Matt? Oh, there you are.
Ted Turner loved the Nature Boy.
Yeah.
Did
Oh,
she-
I'll
she
give.
atta-
I'll give. I ain't got nothing against Ted. I love him
Yeah.
to death.
But did she?
You
ride-
know what he did
What
though?
did he do?
TBS, he was first one to come with national.
Yeah.
And you know what saved his ass when he was losing money?
Wrestling.
Yep. And he
Because
never
it was
forgot
inexpensive and it drew huge ratings.
Yep. And
That
it saved
and
him.
That and Andy Griffith.
Barney Fife. Yep.
But
and he never forgot it though. So I
He
got
was
to love
loyal to
him.
the
I got to
he was
love his
loyal to
dumb
the
ass
business.
for that.
And you know what? If he didn't lose power at Turner when it sold to AOL, I don't know if WCW would have gone out of business.
Probably not.
I think he would have stayed loyal to it. Because even though it was losing money at that point, look at it like this. They owned it, they were presenting it on TV, but the company WCW that was owned by Turner Broadcasting, they weren't getting any rights fees. If they were getting rights fees like WWE gets now from USA and Fox, think of how much, they were living basically off of live gates and pay-per-views. If they were getting TV rights fees from the company that owned them, Turner Broadcasting, they would probably be a very profitable company.
Yeah, I think so.
And
Let me ask you this.
Sure.
Does a person with a lot of money become smart?
No.
Next.
So did Jane ride Space Mountain?
You have to ask Flair that.
So that's
but,
a no.
But if I was a betting man, I'd put 100 to 1. Yep.
Did Jane Fonda perhaps wear a little yellow and red?
Why you trying?
Because I'm really interested in this one. A little yellow and red. Was there a little Fonda? Fonda
okay,
mania?
hey, bro, this is one you ain't gonna get. Y'all ain't gonna get. Old tie yellow ribbon around the old oak tree. Do you
let me ask you that.
remember
if
me?
If there wasn't Fonda mania, did she ever go, oh yeah?
I don't know, but Otis does that now.
We know that. I'm talking about.
Yeah, but how does he say it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh,
Oh, taka.
yeah. Yeah, it's sort of like that.
I don't think Jane serviced Otis.
Huh?
I don't think Jane serviced Otis.
Huh?
Yeah. No hints. Though.
Only twice that time you got me.
Did she?
So
ever,
we even one.
Did she ever go? Oh!
Who does that?
Sting.
Him? I gotta go wee because
All right. Well,
they've made me drink so much water to flush out my system.
That's all we have here at the studio. We have no refreshments other than water. All right, Marty, we heard about Haku, we heard about J.J. Dillon, and a lot of other things that weren't on the script.
I like you, JJ, you know that, but stop kissing ass, brother.
Amongst
How
other...
you gonna live with yourself towards the end when you gotta look at yourself in the mirror if you can raise up to it and go, I wasn't me. I let these bitches own me. I would have blown their dick if I would have got a job. How you live like that, bro? I love you, Jay.
You think
I love
that,
you.
You think that's how JJ got the job?
No, I didn't say that.
Do you think...
JJ, I'm talking to JJ directly. He knows what I'm saying.
You think others service JJ?
No, stop it.
Oh,
Why are the cameras angled?
Was JJ service?
Are you not going to stop, are you?
I'm not going to stop, no.
The first time I had sex with your, what's her name? The one that
You?
Yeah, your wife. Or
Mine?
ex-wife.
Linda?
Yeah, Linda.
What about her?
The one with the kid.
Yeah.
Yes. The first time I had sex with her.
You banged Linda Moratti.
Do you want me to tell them?
I'd be actually kind of interested to hear that. I didn't
You
know.
really want me to tell them?
I didn't know Linda liked to rock like that.
Okay, well, leave it alone. Now stop, or I will.
All right, well, so we're not going to get any 411 about Jane.
So his wife, the first time I ever met her.
You know, the funny thing is, I almost wish she let him come in and you met her, because at least he could have got the picture with you.
Yeah, but
She
still
can go and do what she wants in her life. I'm done with her.
Why'd that girl leave you?
Why did she leave me?
Yeah.
Life became very difficult after that car accident with the Sheik when I became disabled.
You chose the easy way out?
Who?
You.
Me?
Who left who?
Her.
She left herself?
Well, she left old Dan Moratti.
Yeah, old Dan Moratti might have been a lot to handle.
Let me tell you this, it's very difficult. What's that? I couldn't even understand what he said. One didn't? Oh, the wallet. Well, the wallet never left. No. So she always had that to rely on. No, it's just, to get personal on my end. When I became physically disabled, it was an extremely difficult situation for two younger people, especially with kids in the picture,
Yeah.
But I didn't know you met her.
Oh, she seems like a sweetheart.
A lot of people say that.
Well, I'm partial to you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll say this. In her heart, she knows to this very second, if she ever runs into trouble, I'm there in a heartbeat.
Okay.
And I always will be. I detest some of the things she's done to me. She's crushed my spirit.
Everybody's different.
She's crushed my wallet. She's crushed my bank account.
You could always make money again, though.
But exactly. You know what? But those two kids, hopefully, God forbid, will always be around, hopefully, until I'm long in the ground. That's all that counts at the end of the day. As long as they're happy, healthy, and safe, what more can I ask for?
Yeah, true that.
It was a nice life when we had it as is. It's just not that way anymore, so we move on.
What if you had to date 3 girls at one time?
Are you talking about my Comcast days, or?
No, in general, because I'm asking you.
I had 3 different ones I was going with at the same time at Comcast.
Ain't it hard to juggle?
None of them were my...
So you stay over this side of the room and stay over there?
Well, none of them were my official girlfriends, so it made it a little easier.
Exactly.
But what about Jane? Did she have that problem with Ted and other WCW superstars?
I heard her fart stink.
Really?
I heard. I wasn't there for one, but I heard when she farted, people ran.
Really?
But when you hear that little,
all right, well,
you run. All right, I'm going to the bathroom.
All right, wrestling fans. Well, for my friend.
Oh, where's on camera?
For my friend
Look
Marty
at this, how you
Jannetty.
throw a curveball. Hey, brother, Liberty, did they win?
He'll check for you.
Okay.
We will be back in the month of February.
Coastal Carolina. Oh, I'm sorry.
We will be back in the month
Coastal
of...
Carolina.
Well, what?
Go ahead.
We will
Coastal Carolina.
We will... All right. We will be back next Thursday night at 10 p.m. for another edition of Wrestling Insiders. Party with Marty is Marty. He's got that Flomax going, baby. He needs the restroom.
Jane Fonda.
For all you great folks, if you've enjoyed this, hit the Super Chat button. Don't forget to tip the bartender. On top of that, our Patreon campaign is ongoing at patreon.com/Boston
There goes the end of the season.
Wrestling. You can help keep the legends working. You get early access, ad-free access to all of our fine talk shows, as well as our Studio Shoot Interview DVD series. We hope you continue to love this series with Marty. Then we have every Tuesday night with Tony Atlas at 10 p.m. Wednesday, hopefully we're going to still be having Leo Rush with us sometime in 2021. And then Friday nights, after the Thunderdome goes dark in Florida, the dome on John Cena Sr.'s head lights up like a Christmas tree. For Marty Jannetty, who's headed to the restroom, I'm Dan Marotti. Until we speak again, folks, you and yours be well, stay healthy, good night.
Fans, you couldn't possibly imagine what a long day that was with Marty, having to tape about 10 hours worth of content, as that's the only way we can afford to do so without breaking the bank. Again, don't forget that Super Chat button is open on YouTube, the gray $ button under the chat. You can also send a tip of any size using PayPal with the email address bw@bostonwrestling.com. Help us keep the lights on. Help us keep these legends working. As we continue to note, don't forget, share the link. Just share the link to this and all of our great videos across your social media platforms. It's great free wrestling talk with a variety of stars and legends. There's a share button right on Facebook, so all of your friends can actually check out the video. On YouTube, there's a share button that sends the link to multiple platforms. Again, does not cost you a single penny, only a couple seconds of your time. Again, I am a humble individual. The channel continues to grow leaps and bounds, but I know there's millions and millions and millions of fans that have no idea we exist at all, especially lapsed fans that gave up on wrestling, whether it be at the end of the 80s boom or after the Attitude Era, and aren't a fan of modern-day sports entertainment. Let's get them back into the mix with some great wrestling talk tonight. Finally, John Cena Sr. is back in studio with his budding romance with Margot Ouellette of Ms. and Mrs. fame, talking tomorrow night's Royal Rumble, the return of Goldberg, and more. Don't forget, join Johnny every Friday night after SmackDown at 10 p.m. Eastern for a brand new episode.
Hi, wrestling fans. Welcome to another Wrestling Insider's Fabulous Friday Night. We thank you for joining us, no matter where you may be here in the United States. When your countdown to be home may begin, by 10 o'clock you may be forced to be in the house, so why not come out and hang out? We have some fun, we have some laughs, we have some
shoot?
insights.
You're
always shooting.
I always say what I say.
Margot says you love to shoot.
Alrighty, let's see. Moniz just said goodbye.
It's like a torpedo launcher, she said.
Wow. All right, Johnny.
Johnny shooting is fabulous, baby.
Wow.
No vaccine needed.
I don't know about I don't know if I'm taking the vaccine. Is that VD?
We'll have to talk
I don't
to
need
Tony
that.
about
No,
that.
I don't need
We'll
that.
have
All
to
right.
talk to Tony about that. All right, wrestling fans, it certainly is one of the biggest weekends of the year. I remember I had so much fun last year. WWE was kind enough to have me down as a guest in Houston for the Royal Rumble 2020.
They flew you down, gave
No,
you a hotel?
are you kidding me? No, they gave me tickets. They didn't fly me down. I wish.
I was going to say.
I almost choked for a second.
Oh, all right.
I would have taken them. I would have taken the tickets. No, the airline tickets, I mean.
Oh,
They don't like me that much.
I haven't been invited to any of them, so you're better than me.
Well, you'll have to come hang out. I'm trying to think of the name of the field. Minute Maid Field in Houston, because they had the Nolan Ryan statue in front of the field, and it was a nice field.
That's good.
I enjoyed myself in Houston. I don't know where Royal Rumble was going to be this year, but it's always a fun event to me. I love big stadium shows. And it's nice because we can always tape some interesting content when we're on the road. But nonetheless, Johnny, the road to WrestleMania officially kicks off Sunday night with the final bell. Some interesting matches set to take place as we tape this. We want to run through it. The fans wanted some input as Drew McIntyre defends the WWE Championship against one of your all-time favorites, Goldberg.
And what else are we going to talk about?
Do you see a new champion Sunday night at Tropicana Field under the Thunderdome?
Okay, this is a long one, a real long one.
Let's hear it, baby.
Right? McIntyre loses.
You think McIntyre loses like The Fiend did last year?
You know what? And I said it before, I'll say it again. I think the world of Bill Goldberg. And I do. I truly, truly do. He's got it. He's all there. But to put him out there, and I guess one of those things that was flashback to me was, don't embarrass him. That's all I'm saying. Don't embarrass him. Let him wrestle. Let him show what he can do. Let him get out there, and let's see a wrestling match. I guess if anybody can make it look good, it'll be McIntyre. And I thought The Fiend could have done the same thing. But let's see what happens. I'm going to take a long shot. I'm going to say that McIntyre drops the belt.
And who do you think Goldberg loses it to?
Roman Reigns.
The two different brands, though. You think they're going to really mix things up a little bit?
I would. You need to do it.
If you were, let's say, the booker, the head writer, would you advocate for the Goldberg title change, or is this a prediction?
You know what? Vince McMahon has always been the king of expect the unexpected. So every fan out there now is expecting Goldberg to lay down for Drew McIntyre.
Even though he beat The Fiend last year in Saudi Arabia to win the Universal Championship in one of the worst decisions of 2020, coronavirus level bad.
All I'm saying is this. Vince McMahon is the king of expect the unexpected. Every fan you talk to, and I meet a lot in the street, they're expecting Drew McIntyre to polish the floor with Goldberg.
And I hate to say it, but certainly you could even include COVID in the angle, that McIntyre wasn't 100%.
He's sick, not 100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
It'd make the loss a little easier to digest than if he just took a clean 1-2-3 from Goldberg in the middle.
Well, and the other thing is McIntyre has had some good feuds. There have been some great opportunities for young men and women in the WWE, especially the men going against McIntyre. I haven't seen too much of Braun Strowman. I would think that if Goldberg lost, that would be a good match. Goldberg against Strowman.
Well, they did that at WrestleMania last year,
Yeah,
and it
well,
was
that-
not much to write home about.
No, and that's why I'm saying don't embarrass either person. So, my thing is if you drop the belt, if McIntyre drops it, then my question becomes, I guess like you keep asking me, who do you think will take the belt from Goldberg?
I have said it before, and I'll say it again. I do not think that Drew McIntyre's shoulders should lay down for 3 seconds on a professional wrestling mat until fans are allowed back in the venues so WWE officials can get that organic, instant, natural reaction, not what fans say on social media, not what fans say on television sets in the Thunderdome, to get that real instant fan reaction. That's how the quote-unquote old-timers used to gouge how over or not over someone was. I think Drew hasn't had a truly a fair chance yet to show whether he is or is not a guy they can build the company around.
Well,
could he be a top guy? Could he be a top star in the company? Sure. Can he be the face of the company? That's certainly unknown. I would say no at this point, but I think you have to give the guy the chance because they have very few options. He's a younger guy. He's got size. He's got that accent going for him, a little James Bondish. Maybe that's not exactly what
No. You're right on the money.
He's got something
He's
different.
got that Scotland, little Scottish accent in there, which I think appeals to individuals. But my question becomes, okay, I really do. I think he's going to drop the belt because he's the king of the, expect the unexpected. Otherwise, it's too predictable, and then you go, here it is, just another friggin' show.
I'd have him lose it back to McIntyre at WrestleMania. If that was the decision they made,
all right.
I'd say I'd build it up. All right, now Goldberg, okay, you beat me once. I was still recovering at WrestleMania. I'm going to be 100%, and I'd do the rematch at Mania.
And in the meantime, who does Goldberg defend against? Because how many matches?
He only does 2 matches a year, though, so
Excuse
that's
me,
it.
when is his contract up? Next year? Or the year after?
No, he's got, at the end of, he's got 2 matches in 2022.
And that's it?
And then that's it.
That's it. All right. So my question becomes, how do you let this man, and this has always been a question, you let the man win. Drew McIntyre drops the belt. Now, he's only 2 matches in 2021, right? So what's your second match? Who's going to defend the title? What was the big bitch with the Beast, Brock Lesnar? Right. No title defenses.
Right.
And I think the word you were looking for was not gouge, but gauge. The old-timers wanted to gauge to see who was the best. I agree with you. If you want to do that, then you have to let McIntyre have the run.
Well, I think if Goldberg wins, it's going to be an automatic loss for Goldberg unless they add more dates onto that contract. Because if he's only doing 2 matches a year,
the next one is WrestleMania.
That's what I mean, and he's going to lose.
Yep, it doesn't make sense.
Or, you know what, if you wanted to talk about maybe expect the unexpected, you could have Goldberg drop it on the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view and do something different headed into WrestleMania.
I like that. You
never know.
Good thought.
You
good
never
thought.
know.
No, that's a good thought. All right, that's my prediction.
I still say Billy Goldberg brings it for a man of his age. I don't care what his age is. He's a badass-looking guy. I wouldn't want to take.
I wouldn't want to mess with him. I'll tell you right now. I met him in person. You don't want to mess with Goldberg.
What about this one, though, Johnny? For the WWE Universal Championship at the Royal Rumble, Roman Reigns defends against Adam Pearce.
Look, here we go again. Predictability. You don't expect the tribal chief to lose, do you?
No, not to Adam Pearce.
And I got to tell you something. I love Roman Reigns' look. I love it. Why the hell did you wait so long? Why? It's got to be Roman Reigns all the way. Let me tell you something. You know what my thoughts were on Reigns before, right? I'm behind this guy 100%.
I love the little faction with Roman and Uso and Paul Heyman. I think, I hate quote-unquote sports entertainment, but I think the way they made Adam Pearce the #1 contender was amusing.
Yep.
That was a way, that's how you play up something like that.
Yep.
and you couldn't do it seriously. But good for Adam Pearce, for a guy that never really had a match on WWE television. Now he's going to be in one of the championship matches at the Royal Rumble.
He's going to get killed.
He's going to get killed.
You know that.
But for him, no matter, at the end of the day, he did it.
The check's the same, isn't it?
Just like you when you main evented Monday Night Raw.
And 425,000 more people tuned in to watch me get my ass kicked.
I thought you were going to say you got paid $425 grand. He's getting up again.
I don't think so.
Johnny, predictions. Who is going to walk away the victor of the women's Royal Rumble? Do you have a prediction for that? It's a little more of a challenge where you have sometimes not 2, but even 3 brands challenging for that, because it's pretty much the same 30 women every year. They have to pull some legends out of the bag, and it's tough to fill those 30 slots.
I'm glad you said slots.
You know,
you said slots, which was good.
Molly Holly's probably going to get one of them in some incarnation of some gimmick that she did in the past.
I think the world of that young lady, you know. I really do.
You helped train her outside of wrestling, did you not?
I don't know about that.
Well, you had some assistance to her in a vocation outside of wrestling.
She wanted to get into assessing. But she is, in my opinion, a very, very kind, awesome human being.
I remember at WrestleCon, she came up
came
and gave
over
you a big hug.
And took a picture. Yep.
They all want the hugs from Johnny.
She's just a wonderful, wonderful human being. Will she walk away champion? No, ain't going to happen. It's a one-time shot if she gets a slot in there. You know, that's going to be a tough one to call.
You don't have a prediction?
I don't, because there's so many good people that are going to be in there. Stratus is coming back.
She is. I didn't know that.
I heard rumblings that she may be back. Certainly, if she comes back, I'd give the belt to her at a drop of a hat.
Give her maybe a Goldberg-type run with the title?
Yeah, and I think that would be a good run with the title, because now, even Lita, you know, I think Amy Dumas, you know, I'm not saying that you really want to get that high.
Yeah.
You notice I didn't, the last couple of shows, we talked about Lita coming back, Amy Dumas. I think Amy's a wonderful person, wonderful.
I think,
but not what we need right now.
Not from a human point of view, but I think as far as the wrestling presentation, if she were to try and come back for a run like that, I think she'd need a run through the recycling bin first. But
wow, wow, whoa! All I'm saying is, when they invite you on the show, Amy, it's your chance. It's your chance.
And it's nothing against her personally. It's just she has the last few times they've used her physically, and it's a physical business.
She can't do it.
She hasn't presented well.
She can't do that.
Trish always looks fantastic.
Mickey James will be there, I'm sure.
I know you love Mickey.
Well, no, but you know, I look at the human side. I also look at the wrestling side. You know, who else can we pick? There's just gonna be 30 women in that ring. Try to be the writer that says.
What about Sasha? She's already the champion, so no, it couldn't be her. I'm trying to. Isn't it crazy that the business has evolved to
it's
where it is
unfortunate
now,
that
I can't even remember who the champions are off the top of my head?
It's unfortunate that this thing with Sports Illustrated occurred, but as I said, you know what? It's unfortunate it's the Royal Rumble. It should be an open challenge by Sasha Banks when she wins the Royal Rumble. Open. Bayley runs in, accepts the challenge, pins her. 1, 2, 3. Wow, we got a title exchange. Now we got some storylines coming up here. But you know what?
What about one of the NXT ladies? Wouldn't that be interesting? I'll say this, whether you like or dislike it, it would be a way to get someone new over instantly. They'd be over instantly winning the Rumble. You don't think so?
You know, you talked about the older guys and ladies in this business. The one thing I missed was when they started bringing up NXT, putting them over on the upper stars. You haven't even paid your dues yet, and you're already elevated to superhero status. That didn't sit well with a lot of the older people in the business. Me for one. You know what? Go out there. You know, I say to people, you want to put me up against Randy Orton, NXT, John Cena Sr. You know what? Thank you for letting me have the rub. That alone says a lot. And for some reason, professional wrestling fans don't understand what that rub is. You know, the fact that you were even in the ring with Austin or The Rock or Paul Levesque, Triple H, or John Cena Jr., the fact that you were in that ring is enough to say that you were good enough to step through the ropes. It's like John Cena, Kurt Angle.
Yeah, when that angle kicked off.
Yeah.
Well, at some point you have to try and elevate these NXT women. What a better way to do so than to imagine a Royal Rumble victor that is a relative unknown to the masses.
Okay,
I
so
think that would be kind of cool.
all right, so maybe I'll go along with you to a point. Let's put maybe 2 NXT and 2 veterans in there, whatever, and let's keep them guessing. It looks like, it could be, will it be? Oh my God, no. When Daniel Bryan won the title at WrestleMania. Okay.
The Miracle on Bourbon Street.
Oh, please. That was just, I mean,
a little much.
I think the word to Daniel Bryan, no question about it. I'll stand up for the guy any day of the week.
It's not a personal comment. It's just one of the physical
He
presentation.
got the shit kicked out of him, put it bluntly. He went out in a stretcher, all wrapped up, and I'm coming back to beat you. Oh, please.
And then he started playing ping pong for Kane afterwards. But speaking of rub, maybe 2 veterans that could be included in the Women's Royal Rumble that when they saw you at WrestleCon wanted to give you a rub. Hall of Famers Jackie Moore and Ivory.
Again, I have what you don't. Respect. Ivory, tremendous.
I'm not saying you did it. I'm just saying they were giving you the eyes.
I don't know. Where do you see this? I get all this entourage of women. I have people on my yachts, my planes, my cars.
Which
I don't
one
get
was
it.
that? That's when we were in Orlando with Shelton and Zeb Coulter.
Yeah, thank God for Moniz, because you know what, folks? I go to dinner a lot alone. So any fans out there want to take me to dinner,
Forget about the fans. It's the women in the industry.
okay, we're the emails.
Auntie Bella.
See, I get serious, he gets comical, and that's what makes this such a great show.
Hey, we have a lot of laughs. We have a
We
lot
have
of
a
laughs.
lot of fun,
yeah.
and I'm open to that.
One
I
thing
really-
the fans on Patreon have asked about, Johnny, is some of the behind-the-scenes shenanigans. We talked to Cecil the Lion right now, who's busy setting up LAN parties this winter. But we'd like to give the fans, if you think we have fun when the cameras are rolling, you should see what happens sometimes when they're off.
Really?
With us.
Crazy women in here and everything?
Well, I don't know about that.
Oh,
but
well, I'm not
behind the
interested.
scenes. All right.
Behind the scenes? Well,
I'm not
Cecil,
talking Pat Patterson.
one of the finest human beings in the world, always there to help, always there to be there. I mean,
You know I have a lot of respect for
I
the
know.
Hall
Oh,
of
I
Famer,
understand
Pat
where your joke's
Patterson.
coming from, but
You didn't
now-
find it funny, that's all.
No.
No, you didn't find it funny at all. Well, that's all right.
any more than
I could have
Cecil
said
having
Terry-
parties over septic systems. I don't
LAN parties.
know what those are. LAN or LAND?
LAN. All capitals.
I'm not going there.
Yeah.
No, that's not a good thing to say.
What, LAN? Why is it a bad thing to say?
Well, explain what that party is.
It's, I guess, like a 90s version of before the internet really existed, a way people would play video games together. They'd hook their computers up.
So anyway, let's go back to the
and
Royal
instead
Rumble.
of what you'd call a circle jerk, you'd have a circle game.
So now let's go back to the Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble!
Now, what do you got for the men, Johnny? Oh. It may be this guy, since we're on the center camera. Do you think maybe the Fiend could walk away with the Rumble?
Anybody's guess.
Think of the interesting entrance he could have, the way he
I have to-
manipulates the Thunderdome.
I still have to tell you this. When I first met that young man as his first character, I said to him in catering, we were coming out of catering, and I said, I just have to say this to you. You probably have the most interesting, best character right now next to The Undertaker in WWE. And I really meant it from my heart. Not that I'm a talent agent, that I can see all this magic. He still has it. And I only hope he comes out the winner. There's so many storylines to come out of the Rumble if they play it right that could go on till WrestleMania and be draw matches with question marks. Is he going to win? Is he not going to win? I like him.
Well,
I'll pick him.
The funny thing is, Johnny, there's still so much unknown about the big event. Usually by September or October, I'll have, through the grapevine from friends, know several of the top matches for Mania coming up. And I have no idea what they have planned this year. In my own educated opinion, I'm thinking maybe they have a lineup for fans in the venue and a lineup if they have to do it at the Thunderdome again without fans. I don't know. But whatever they've done, they've kept quiet, and I guess that's a good thing.
I just hope Vince understands, and I'm sure he does, and he's a great businessman, a great guy. Stephanie, Triple H, the whole bunch. You know what? It doesn't have to be April, Vince. A lot of these arenas are domed now. They have central air involved in there. You know what? If you got to push it off till August, do it. Make it because one of the things we lose at the greatest show in the world, what makes it great is not only the wrestlers, it's
You
the
guys.
fans.
You guys at
Yeah,
home.
without you, it's nothing. It's the same thing on the indie circuit. I walk out there as John Cena Sr., Johnny Fabulous. If you don't have that reaction, it's kind of hard to make it work, to make it all come to fruition. No matter how hard you do it, a lot of fans will sit there and look at it on TV. Wow, did you see that? That was a planned move. Look at that. That's a wrestling move. Yep, that they teach him in school. It's all gone. The mystique, the magic, it's gone.
Do you think maybe if Bray Wyatt is not the victor of the Royal Rumble, perhaps we could see The Fiend taking on, after what happened on Raw this past week as we're taping this episode, the man whose sledgehammer he lit on fire, Triple H? It'd be a first-time match. I think the fans would have a real interest in it, as long as the right guy wins.
You know, what do I say? I have a lot of respect for Triple H, the best, trained by Kowalski, outstanding athlete. Cena's been with him. Daniel Bryan, he puts on a hell of a show.
He throws one of the best right-handed punches in the history of the business. I love his rights.
Oh, wow. I remember hitting Daniel Bryan once, and I went back, and CM Punk held him while I hit him. And I said,
in Lowell.
Yeah, I said, boom, I went back, and I said, geez, I hope I wasn't too stiff. And I remember Triple H saying to me, no stiffer than your sons. So I guess that says a lot. But I would love to see The Fiend come out of this and then face Paul Levesque, Triple H. I think there's a great storyline there. I really think that it could get real creepy with Stephanie, the kids, the grandparent. It could get really scary. Linda McMahon, it could get really scary. I mean, look, I had a lot of fun with what it did with me and Randy Orton and Edge. And I think that the writers, if they really want to make it eerie and boom, I think you get 3 or 4 storylines that could really stretch this thing out and be meaningful. Whether they're going to choose to do that or not, I don't know. My money's on The Fiend.
Well, I know when they have fans, they do want to have a gigantic blow-off, I don't know if Texas Death Match, a last man standing type match between Edge and Randy Orton to play off of Orton causing the injury that put Edge out of action for the better part of a year. Hopefully that can take place, but I think Triple H and Fiend would be very interesting. What do you think about how all of a sudden how Alexa Bliss has become possessed, shooting fireballs at Randy Orton as if she was the original Sheik, Eddie Farha, at Cobo Hall in Detroit with Bobo Brazil back in the 60s.
What was Jerry Lewis's thing? Goodness gracious, great balls of fire! You know what?
Do you like possessed Alexa Bliss? I don't know why she's dressing and talking
too late, too soon.
Like a 6-year-old all
too
of a
soon,
sudden.
too late. Because she's Sister Abigail. She's Abigail.
But she's not Abigail.
But look at the movie Abigail, that little doll.
There's a movie? Oh, that's Annabelle.
Annabelle. Look at that movie and look at the character. There is definitely a correlation.
I don't like it.
And I think it's too much, too late, too soon.
I think it makes him too hokey, and I don't think he
well,
should
you don't
be
need it. He
presented
doesn't
as
need
hokey.
it. You know what I'd like to see?
What would you like to see?
The battle for the urn and the hammer. The battle for the urn, which has that magical, fiendish power for the hammer.
What hammer?
The sledgehammer, Triple H.
You want to see Triple H against The Undertaker?
No, against this man, who somehow has inherited the urn.
You think he's going to inherit the urn?
Oh, please, there's a lot of shit you could do with this. If people think I'm too far out there, I told you before and I'll tell you again, everybody hated me, including my son. The guy to beat Taker would have been Wyatt. Would have been spooky, over, great. What do I know?
In this incarnation as Fiend, I agree with you. When he was Waylon Mercy type Bray Wyatt, I liked him, but it was too overexposed. It was
Okay.
on TV 52 weeks a year,
All right.
and I think that took away some of the... I don't think he was even as eerie as Luke Harper and Rowan under the mask, to be honest
So
with
maybe
you.
Kane comes back with the urn or whatever. Kane's
Well,
not
that's
finished.
true. Yeah, Kane's not done
He's
yet.
not done yet.
He'll come back for that
I
payday,
think there's
baby.
I think there's a lot to be done here. There's a lot to be done. You know, and forget Paul, forget the hammer. Maybe it's Kane that possesses the ashes now, that possesses the magic within the urn, whatever that magic was. Maybe Abigail is the one to use that to continue to fuel the Fiend. Who knows? There's so much WWE is missing here. They're not reading between the lines. They're not looking at what the possibilities are. Only remains to be seen.
Well, after Randy Orton broke some of the puppets in the Firefly Funhouse, I'm sure their vendetta is far from over, too.
Yes, we can say that Randy Orton busted a lot of wood.
Well,
Get that? Wood, ED, you got it.
we'll have to talk to Tony about that.
Okay.
But fans, if you're watching on Friday night after SmackDown in the premiere, what matches would you like to see at WrestleMania this year? It's a unique year. The location has not been revealed yet. I was told it is definitely not in Los Angeles, which makes me think it's going to be somewhere in Florida. When? I don't
Tampa.
know.
My guess is going to be Tampa.
But the problem is they'd have to go to the football field because by April, the baseball stadium would be needed by the Rays.
Yeah, but they don't play every night at that.
But you know how long it takes to set up WrestleMania's set. They'd need weeks for that venue. I think they'd have to go to Raymond James at the NFL Stadium in Tampa.
Okay, whatever. But you know what? I've seen the WWE crew at work.
And they work.
And when I tell you to dream the impossible dream, these gentlemen and ladies, they don't get enough credit.
They're like Disney.
Oh, they don't get enough credit. I'm
You're
telling
right.
you right now. They say, this is what I want it to be. And I'll tell you what, he puts it on paper, somebody makes a model, and these men and women create the reality. Give them a pat on the back. The special effects, the things you see.
The athletes
Rusev
can't do
on
it
a
without
tank.
them. Yep.
Oh my God. And they can do it in a week. But give these people the credit they deserve.
I'm
like
just saying, from the point of view of time, I don't think they'd have the time they'd need at the baseball field in order to do it if it's in the middle of the baseball season.
You know what? There's always room for anything. This talks. So there's always
Well,
room.
you never know. Maybe the baseball season could start late again.
Or maybe you write a little bit of the baseball into WrestleMania. Who knows what could happen down the road?
All right, well, it is going to be an interesting spring, fans. Nonetheless, again, we ask you, what would you like to see happen at WrestleMania? What do you think is going to happen this Sunday night at the Royal Rumble? We want some predictions in writing in the Premier Chat or in the comment section below. Again, fans, don't forget, if you want to keep the lights on, if you want the superstars like John Cena Sr., Mr. USA, Tony Atlas, Marty Jannetty, our rotating Wednesday guests like the Nasty Boys, Leo Rush, the Warlord, Tatanka, Savio Vega, so many more that want to come and join us live and in person, like Jake the Snake Roberts is one of many that we had planning on coming with us later in 2020.
I'd
when
be
our
here for that one.
80s Fan Fest got pushed off. Unfortunately, Road Warrior Animal wanted to be with us and try and test the waters out as a semi-regular co-host. The limitations are impossible if you guys help the cause. Head on over to patreon.com for early ad-free access to every Wrestling Insider episode, along with access to the Studio Shoot Interview DVD library. And again, more important, now 10 months into this pandemic, you're helping keep professional wrestling legends working. Not the ones that are under contract to WWE and AEW that get the contract that get the check in the mail every other week, no matter what. We're talking about the guys that rely on the independent shows that aren't happening, the autograph signings that aren't happening, that truly need the support to live. They gave their bodies, sometimes they gave up their families in order to try and give you great experiences on television and at live arenas. Here's a chance for us to use this humble little TV studio, no pun intended, Cheek, but to use this humble little TV studio to try and give back. Trying to help the legends is something, Johnny, I know you know how sarcastic I can be, but I think you know that is one thing that's always been very important to me.
The legends deserve it.
They
Those
do.
people that paid their dues and are now no longer part of the big picture, but at the indie circuits and make appearances here and there. I can't tell you how important it is to them. I've been with them, I've watched them, I've worked with them. So fans, reach out. You're 100%, Dan.
For less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, patreon.com
Don't get donuts, you cheap.
Patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Don't forget about what the quarantine rules may be in your state. The eBay store is open 24/7, baby. The link is in the description box below. We also have a great WWE t-shirt fundraiser going on. The links can be found there. Again, you're helping keep professional wrestling legends working. WWE is doing great for itself, even during a pandemic. The money they get just from their United States television contracts from USA and Fox Television is enough to keep them smiling for many, many years to come. For these legends that come to the studio, they're facing some very, very, very tough times, and it's very important to me. The Super Chat button is open if you enjoyed tonight's show. Don't forget to tip the bartender, and as always, do the little things. There are things that you can do that cost nothing. We know times are tough in 2021, Johnny. There's people going without a check, not just pro wrestlers, but if you give us a thumbs up, that costs nothing. If you share the link to the shows on your social media, that costs absolutely nothing. If you subscribe to the YouTube channel so you get alerts when the new shows come out, it costs nothing, and it helps us grow. The more people that YouTube sees watching the shows, the more YouTube is going to share it to new fans. The more new fans we get, the more people we have involved in the process so we can bring you more guests, more talk shows, more cyber autograph signings. See, do you see how the meal is? We're preparing the meal, Johnny?
Hey, listen, by the way, I'm going to start a YouTube show for myself.
What are you going to do?
Cooking with John Cena Sr.
When are we going to start taping it?
I hope to start in another couple of weeks.
Now, who's going to be taping it? Are we coming up with the camera crew?
You're welcome to do that, but...
Well, I mean, if you want to.
Whatever I'm thinking of doing that show. I've had a lot of requests. I do a lot of cooking. They want to know if I can do stuff with diets and show how to do
the Julia Childs of Boston Wrestling Sports.
We'll bring
John
Moniz
Cena
in there.
Sr.
We always argue when we cook. It'll be kind of a fun show.
Fun.
It'll be a fun show. I might even be able to send you a clip. I'll send you a clip.
I think that would be a lot of fun.
Hang on. I'm looking for a lot of likes on that. And I'm even thinking of opening up a donut shop in Maine, in Kennebunkport. I'm looking for a little spot up there. It'd be the best little donut shop in Maine. We'll do unique donuts. I can't tell you what I'm thinking of, but...
I think you should put a donut with a hand in front of it.
No,
you can't eat me.
Wow. Woof.
Hey, I'm trying to come up with ideas.
Hey, no, Diane's
you don't like
Donut
you
Shop.
Can't eat me.
Diane's Donut Shop over there in...
Diane's Donut Shop?
Yeah,
Who's Diane?
They have a great little donut selection there.
Oh, this has nothing to do with you.
No, if I open my shop, I'll use their product.
And you're going to buy Diane's Donut.
And then I'll come up with a few ideas, like a lobster roll donut. I don't know. We'll see. I got all these things to my head.
I like the idea you can't eat me. I think that...
In the best little donut shop in Maine.
You could have...
Yeah, the best little whorehouse in Texas with a donut that says, "You can't eat me." All right. And they're all 69 cents. Right here, Curtis.
You could have Tony come down for the grand opening.
I'd be honored to have Mr.
Think of how
Atlas.
many free donuts Tony would eat, and then how many he'd try and take home. And then as he's signing the autographs, the donut residue, it would look like the back end of a snowblower with the donut residue coming out of the side of his mouth.
So fans, please, support us, support the legends. Don't listen to him. I'm drinking Dunkin' Donuts, not Starbucks.
I don't know what they put in my coffee. We had a lot of fun, though, wrestling fans.
We do.
Hopefully, we're going to be doing a live watch-along for the Royal Rumble Sunday night on WWE Network. Join us for some laughs, some funs, and some friendship. Until we speak again, folks, we'll be back next week to talk post-Royal Rumble as the road to WrestleMania begins on another fabulous Friday night. Be well. You don't like You Can't Eat Me?
The World Wrestling Federation was live at Winnipeg Arena in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, Wednesday, January the 29th, 1992. In the opening contest, Tatanka beat Skinner. The Berserker with the win over Jim Brunzell. WWF Tag Team Champion Road Warrior Animal defeated Earthquake. This was changed from a tag team title match due to Hawk's drug test failure. The Beverly Brothers victorious over the New Foundation via disqualification. El Matador drew IRS. The Big Boss Man beat $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase. And in the main event, WWF Intercontinental Champion Roddy Piper defeated WWF World Champion Nature Boy Ric Flair via countout. If you were in Winnipeg live, share your memories in the comments section below. Use the links in the description box to keep wrestling legends working in our eBay store and on our acclaimed Patreon streaming service so we can bring you more interactive shoot interviews to relive the good old days of professional wrestling. All right, folks, hope you enjoyed tonight's show as much as we did, with some laughs, some history, some knowledge, some personal opinions. Would love your feedback in the comments section below or in the premiere chat if you're watching Saturday night on YouTube. If you guys really like this Week in Review format, we're going to keep doing it. Don't forget, tomorrow is yet another pay-per-view weekend bonus installment of Wrestling Insiders. We're joined in studio by the first modern-day WWE Cruiserweight Champion, TJ Perkins, for a follow-up to a great interview we did with TJ during TLC weekend in December. That episode is available right now. Then at 7 p.m. tomorrow night, when the Royal Rumble goes live, so do we across YouTube and Facebook, as John Cena Sr. will be back with us for what's shaping up to be a fun night. Don't forget to follow us across social media. Sample our outstanding Patreon at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. And the eBay store is open for business 24/7 with the link in the description box below. We can't do these shows without you folks. The legends, they need ya. We need to keep them working. It is a passion of mine. We're going to make it a passion of yours too. Until we speak again, folks, you and yours be well, stay healthy. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow with TJP, then live during the Royal Rumble with John Cena Sr. Good night.